It's time. It is that time. Time for Stiles and Watkins.
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140. Find us on YouTube at Sacktown Sports 1140.
It's time for Alan Stiles and Chris Watkins.
Yes. On a Wednesday, Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. Nate behind the glass for us today as we break down all things. Brandon Aiyuk, still a 49er in some capacity, even though Jerry Rice got everyone all hot and bothered last night with his Instagram post. We will break down what that means. NFL Network had some things to say last night about it, or yesterday evening. Also, the A's best record in the AL since mid-July, 15-9 during that span. But what does it mean? What does that mean for the future of the A's? Could they be on to something moving forward? And the Giants, did they swing and miss on Bob Melvin? They lose again. They had this head-to-head matchup with the Braves, and they have not been able to get over the hump, losing again in extra innings. As Whitey Gleason tells us yesterday, how he is no longer a fan of the runner on second. Well, you're definitely not a fan if you're a Giants fan, because it seems like it's only helping one team. It's really supposed to help the home team more than the away team. So we break down Bob Melvin. We also get into Kevin Huerter. Could he be the key to the season? That spacing, the spacing issue that everybody talks about. Could it be not a problem at all if Kevin Huerter does his job and does it at a high level? And as we get into the NBA season, which coach could be on the hot seat very early into the season, and which team in the NFC and AFC might take a step back? Chris Watkins, how you doing?
Good, except for my guy. Apparently, Bob Melvin's on the hot seat these days. I was unaware, and I turned on social media yesterday, and it just seemed like the narrative has now flipped on Bob Melvin to him being on the hot seat, and so that definitely interested to hear more about that and talk about that. And I mean, a lot of these NBA coaches this year, there's a lot on the line. So definitely going to talk a lot of coaches today, and if we have to, we can talk about Brandon Aiyuk.
We're definitely going to. Bleacher Report also gives a reason for not to overlook each team, right, or every team. They give one reason, so we will break down what's the reason they bring up for the Kings, and I can think of a couple. And of course, Mad Dog, and I think Dave talked about it a little bit. Mad Dog not understanding why everyone is so happy with what Team USA did in the Olympics. So we'll have some fun with that. And 1 o'clock, what are we doing? And if you were listening last week to the show in the morning, a name came up when we did a little segment about who's the worst quarterback that could possibly win a gold in flag football in 2028. Well, somebody on the text line brought this name up. It's a very polarizing name, to put it lightly. And now all of a sudden, I got to give a shout out to whoever that was. If you're still listening here on the midday, I don't think you put a name with your text, but you were right on this. And now there is interest between this player and possibly going to the Olympics. But to get back to the Bob Melvin situation, Chris, Nate, let's hear from Bob Melvin. And this is what he had to say after a game. They are 3.5 games back still. They're losing these head-to-head matchups with the Braves. Soler, of course, looks amazing. We knew that was going to happen. And 2 nights ago, Chris, when the Giants were in the extras, they don't bunt. Okay? Last night, they're in a situation where you have Tyler Fitzgerald up, who had hit a home run in the game earlier, and they ask him to bunt. Right. And it obviously wasn't successful. They end up losing the game. And here's Bob Melvin on really just where they're at in the season.
Yeah, regardless, every game's important now. So we know where these guys are in the standings. We know where we are. We came in here and had, pretty high expectations, win the first 2 games of the homestand and get ourselves up 3 above. And we feel like we can, roll a little bit more and get above 500 more so. But lose 3 games in a row and get back to 500 is pretty frustrating.
I mean, Chris, and look, I know that I'm the type of guy that I need energy, and I know everybody's not like that, especially in the game of baseball, right? You stay even keel. I get that, but Chris, I'm just telling you, man, this Bob Melvin situation it's just he is so lifeless at times, and I just don't feel like he's motivating anyone. Every time I hear him speak, it's just the same monotone. Yeah, no, we gotta do this round and that. Do you want to be here, Bob Melvin? And I get it. Like I said, not everybody needs to be up and down. But when I look at this team, and you're in the midst of such an important race for Bob Melvin, for Farhan Zaidi, for the whole Giants organization, it just there's no heart and soul, Chris. I feel like it's missing heart and soul. And somebody said this on social media. They said, well, think about it like this. Why would the Padres just be so willing to let Bob Melvin go to a division rival? I never really thought about it like that, because, we talk about it in basketball, we talk about it in football, we talk about it in baseball. If Bob Melvin was such a keeper and such a winner, why would the Padres just be okay to let him go to the Giants? And I'm kind of out. I was never in, because this is what it was to me, Chris. And this is what I said you probably saw on social media last night. Gabe Kapler was polarizing. Polarizing might be the word of the day today. Gabe Kapler was polarizing for a number of reasons. Okay, he came in hot. He spoke his mind. He did whatever he wanted. He talked about outside lands. He was a cool guy. He was almost too cool. And hey, man, are you paying attention to the actual game? And then all of the platooning stuff, which I thought he was a bit of a puppet.
Yeah, for sure.
Through Farhan Zaidi, but he got all of the flack. So after, and not to get political here, but what normally happens after you've had a Republican in office for 4 years? What normally happens when you've had a Democrat in office? Normally it flips the other way, because at that point, okay, you've seen all the warts from that party, and the other party, you know what, it's been 4 years. Let's see what the other side has to offer. Yeah. That's typically how it happens. You don't see 16 years of a Democrat or a Republican. And I think that's exactly what happened with the Giants. Gabe Kapler was so unique. They said, let's go with the safer pick. Bob Melvin is a baseball guy through and through. Sure. The OGs like him. Everybody likes him. This is safe. And I do think he is safe, but the game is changing a little bit. The same thing we talked about with Tony La Russa and the White Sox. I'm not saying it's that bad, because they're in contention and the White Sox are a complete mess, but I just feel like they went with the safe pick. It hasn't worked out. And every time Bob Melvin speaks, I am just not compelled to listen.
My pushback would just be, it's only been a year. It hasn't even been a full season yet. Can we just, in general, can we pump the brakes on him being fired after one season? And then the other thing I'm confused about is, how can people are upset at Farhan because the roster's not good enough, and yet they're 500, which is probably about where people where was Bob Melvin supposed to take? Like, was he just supposed to elevate this roster well above and beyond where the expectation was? Because, I mean, I think maybe that could have been the expectation, but at the very least, he's performing at a neutral basis, which I don't think is necessarily a negative. Again, in just his first year on the role, he has a ton of new players. I mean, the energy thing, I'm sure you could definitely speak to, but I don't see how that is also on Bob Melvin to get his players motivated to play the game. Like, that is why they're paid millions of dollars. Like, sure. And this also brings up the whole conversation of, what do managers really even do in today's age?
And get the butt down. Get the butt down. Get the butt down.
And, that's what you're upset about, right? Yeah. Is that, it is some of the actual in-game management that you have a problem with. And I think that's, if you are going to criticize somebody, especially Bob Melvin in this situation, at least you are presenting it from here's an actual X's and O's thing that he just is doing wrong or did wrong in this situation. But from a wholesale or looking at it from the macro, I just don't see how necessarily he should be on the hot seat, really. I mean, I don't know how much people are actually clamoring for his job, but I just don't see how it can be the roster's bad. But I mean, the roster isn't what people want it to be, and yet he's still in contention. He's not thriving by any means, but he's probably coaching or managing them to about where the roster dictates the talent should be.
You know what? And maybe this is less about Bob Melvin, because to me, and I've been a Noah Lyles apologist, and I was a bit of a Gabe Kapler apologist, because I just didn't I didn't like the tone and how people talked about Gabe Kapler. It just it was
seems like the kind of guy who would have upset you. So that's why I'm surprised.
Well, maybe it's because he was with the Phillies previously. I don't know, but. It felt like it was starting to leave the baseball realm. It felt like, do you really just not like Gabe Kapler because of his jawline.
Yes,
That's what it started to get to for me.
The burgers.
And for me, when I look at this roster, I see what Gabe Kapler did the last couple years, and I feel like Gabe Kapler did way more with less. That's been my issue. I mean, this is a top 10 salary in the league. It might not look like it on a day-to-day basis, especially hitting wise, but Gabe Kapler had nothing of the sort.
Sure.
They had to move off Soler, or they didn't have to, but they chose to move off Soler. I get it. There was no Soler power. Now he goes to the Braves where he feels more comfortable, and you have that situation going on. Jung-Hoo Lee gets hurt. Let's not forget Jung-Hoo Lee, one of the biggest acquisitions. Jung-Hoo Lee gets hurt. And now you're back to, well, let's just bring up the kids again. I mean, Matt Chapman has started to heat up a bit. So it's been tough. And you also have aberrations like a Tyler Fitzgerald and things like that, where and Elliot Ramos. So there have been spurts. It's a very competitive division. That's very, also a part of it. I'm not calling for him to get fired. I'm just one of those people that I was never a fan of the hire to begin with.
Sure.
Now, if you ask me, okay, Alan, who they should have hired, that's why I keep my mouth shut, because I also don't know who I would have chosen.
And I think you're just asking, keep the same energy, right?
And you know what? I got to be very careful here, but that has also been said, that how Bob Melvin is being treated is not how Gabe Kapler was treated the seasons previously with a worse 100%. Roster. Yeah. They were on his articles, on his head, on his head. 100%. And Bob Melvin is just, we're just going to try to figure these things out. So I hear what you're saying. I'm not calling for Bob Melvin to be fired. I was never really a fan of the hire to begin with. It wasn't that I wasn't a fan. It was exactly how I feel when he speaks. I was unmoved.
Yeah, you're just that.
Okay, it's fine. And let's see what happens.
And you know what? They're performing fine.
500.
Yeah.
500. Yeah. That's who they are. And, I've said, look, and I don't mind the guy, but, and I know he hasn't had a bad season, but when I said this last season, I said, it's not even that Mike Yastrzemski is a bad player. It's at this point, what he represents is this post 3 championship world where you've been just stuck in irrelevancy. And that's why you have to move off of him.
Enough.
And good enough. Sometimes, and they moved off of Austin Slater. Sometimes it's not about moving off of a guy, unless you just cannot go on without his production. Sometimes it's not necessarily moving off a guy because he's not good enough. It's just, you know what? It's been a good relationship. Let's just move. Let's just move. Let's just get it all fresh. And they refuse to do that with some of these guys on the roster. They decide not, and that's the other thing. Some of it isn't Bob Melvin. I think Farhan's much hotter of a seat
for sure
than Bob Melvin. That's for sure, because you weren't selling, but you sold Soler, and you sold one other pitcher, but you also don't bring anybody in.
Just Mark Canha.
Just Mark Canha, who actually hasn't played too poorly, but it's just not. It's just not good enough. No. So I think you're spot on in that. I'm not asking for him to be fired. But at the same time, I was never a huge fan of it. And when I look at this roster, I mean, and I love this guy because, there's not normally a lot of brothers on the Giants. Let's just keep it 1,000. But I mean, what are we doing with Lamont Wade Jr.? Like, Lamont Wade Jr. is not a starting first baseman on a contending team. You can throw him in left, and he cannot be your everyday first baseman. That's not good enough. All right. And I liked Michael Conforto when he was on the Mets. He could really hit the ball. He's been injured. He hasn't gotten back. Patrick Bailey, he can't hit the broadside of a barn.
You mean the 3-hitter?
And Brett Wisely, I don't mind him either. He gives me Joe Panic vibes, who was just in the building this weekend for the 2014 celebration.
That was dope.
I mean, I'm sure. And the Giants social media, they had to build that up. I mean, they were posting, remember that do you remember? I mean, come on, man. Remember. I remember. So we'll see what happens with the Giants again. At least the A's know what they're doing. Since July 12th, 15-9. What a ridiculous winning record. Best record in the American League. Coming up next, Chris keeps telling me, Alan, can we get back to Aiyuk? We got to break down Aiyuk. NFL Network yesterday had some things to say about where it currently is. We get into Jerry Rice on Instagram. What do you have to say? And did Aiyuk play this thing perfectly? Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Sacramento, Dirks Bentley's coming to town. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo for Country in the Park 2. And he's bringing some friends. Parmalee, Tyler Rich, Dasha, Kelsey Hart, and more. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo. Get your tickets today before they're sold out at CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by Arby's of Sacramento and Hoblet Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram Center.
Hey, thrill-seeking movie fans. It's time to get your tickets to see Alien Romulus, the IMAX experience at the Esquire IMAX Theater in downtown Sacramento.
Whatever comes, we'll face it together.
Let's go.
Experience the most terrifying life form in the universe on the largest screen in Sacramento. Don't miss opening weekend of Alien Romulus in front of the Esquire IMAX 6-story screen. Grab your tickets early at IMAX.com/Sacramento and reserve your seats today.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
All right. Stiles Watkins. Nate, how are you doing? By the way, we went around the room. I always ask Chris, how are you doing today?
B-.
Oh.
B-, 2.7 GPA.
Yeah, that's probably not
You
great.
get into a state school with that feeling. How do we get you
That
to a
attitude.
B? How do we get you to a 3.0?
Petra.
See, I hope my wife's not listening.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be good. We're supposed to be good. Speaking of the Little League World Series, I don't know why that's speaking of.
Yeah,
but
speaking
Little
of.
League World Series, Aruba, Mexico. Chris is here looking up where all the places are.
I have
And-
no idea where Aruba was.
No, and I was telling Chris how, if you want to travel, and now I'm definitely an old head. Now I'm definitely going to get another gray hair.
yeah.
Travel now if you want to travel. My wife and I, we decided to focus more on music festivals, which also aren't cheap.
No.
But now Chris is asking me, hey, did you ever do, your mom's from Panama. Did you do a Central America, South America trip? We went to Panama, but it would have been nice to, go all around the different countries, and we can still do it, right? It's just a little bit more complicated now.
Oh,
so
for sure.
do it while you're young if you got that itch, or even if you don't, just make sure you do what you want to do while you can.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to
That's just good advice in general.
I'm just talking to the youngins, Chris and Nate, and anybody else who's there. By the way, school has just started back.
Yeah.
So these
No
kids,
thanks. That's a great point, right?
they get to just roll up into school and say, yeah, where were you?
Yeah.
I was at the World Series.
Yeah, it's like what's the kid's name? Quincy Wilson, the
Right.
4x400
Yep,
runner
yep,
who just
with the
shows up
gold.
to high school with the
Mhm.
freaking gold medal. Like, how are you supposed to just act like, oh yeah, I'm just a everyday normal kid, but I won a gold medal, or I just won the Little League World Series. I've been playing baseball literally all summer and it didn't stop. So I mean, it's got to be weird.
We're going to get into this Brandon Aiyuk thing, but you've led me somewhere, Chris.
Sure.
And we didn't get
Much
to talk.
rather talk about this than Brandon.
We
Let me
really
tell
we
you.
didn't get to talk too much about the Olympics because we weren't.
Yeah,
doing
we
the
were
show
off
together
last week. Yeah.
So as you talk about the 16-year-old phenom, did you happen to watch the race prior, the 4x400, where he was struggling?
No, I actually didn't see him run at all.
He
Because I saw him in the crowd celebrating them winning.
He was the opening leg, and he struggled bad. Right. Basically, they had to make up for him. USA did.
Yeah.
Just to qualify. It was bad.
Yeah.
And he's been running this whole time, and he's not even fully grown yet. The fact that he's there is ridiculous. I have a lot of questions, I think, as to how he was with all the runners everywhere. It's interesting to me. I'm not saying he doesn't believe to be there.
It seems like mentally was probably the problem, right?
Yes.
Like, is that he probably just couldn't handle the pressure of that
burnt.
moment.
He was
He's
burnt
16
out.
years old.
I have a question for you. So then the 4x400 USA wins.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they sub in somebody else.
Yeah.
And Quincy, because he was a part of the initial race
But
to
in the crowd.
qualify.
Yep.
He got a gold.
Yeah.
And I think it just kind of
You
took
could say
me
that
back.
they got a gold in spite of him.
I mean, you could go back and look at the race. He was second to last. I really want to see it. He was basically last at handoff. And I'm not this kid is a 16-year-old Olympian.
Yes.
My question is, are you okay? And I'm sure they've been doing this for years, obviously, but it's fresh on my mind. Are you okay with Quincy getting a gold, even though he wasn't a part of the gold medal race?
Yeah, he probably shouldn't. He probably shouldn't have gotten a gold.
And I guess on top of that, you have the gold. I have buddies who they got pulled up to varsity sophomore year, right, in baseball. And then they won. We didn't win when I was in high school, but they won sophomore year. So they have a ring. They don't wear the ring anywhere,
right?
Because they didn't play.
Yeah, they just got called up for playoffs,
just in case somebody gets injured or something like that.
Happens in football,
and they got a ring. He is a gold medal winner.
Sure.
He did not race in the gold medal race, and I'm not really sure. What to do with? What if very similar? I mean, it's not even the same. I was going to compare it to Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is a Super Bowl winning quarterback, but he didn't play in the Super Bowl.
He did not. No, it is.
He helped them get there.
Except I guess in this situation, Carson helped them get there where Quincy might have almost hurt their chances.
I really haven't seen Quincy run that much. I watched the 4x400 because they did a whole special on him,
right?
And then we're watching. I'm thinking,
this is it.
This what's going on here? So it was just so confusing to me.
No, for sure.
And maybe somebody who is and I, everyone knows I've been watching a ton of track. This one, there's just too much to watch. But I'm okay with them getting the gold. I just don't know if you're Quincy. Do you feel? You got to get one on your own. You got to get another
for
one.
Sure.
In an actual final.
Yes. Yeah. To the conversation we had the other day. I mean, it's still a gold medal. He still is going to flex that thing. And if you're in high school, I'm hanging that thing up for sure. But yeah, I mean, he definitely probably feels internally like I have to go earn my keep.
That's the only goal he has.
It is what it is at that point. But I think,
which shouldn't be the case because he's a 16-year-old phenom. He's gonna be back
for sure. He will definitely
be 20
back.
Years old at the next Olympics.
I think just as a competitor and as a hyper athlete, he's definitely got to feel like I didn't pull my weight in that situation, and it doesn't have to be a bad thing. It doesn't have to be necessarily bashing him or anything. But we talk about it. You don't like to use the word fair, and it might not be fair, but because he is so young. But yeah, I mean, he probably does feel like I let my team down a bit, and I would like to feel really good every time I look at the gold medal.
Right.
I don't want to think about, ooh, man, I almost lost it for us. My team had to save us. I want to think about, wow, I ran one of the fastest times I've ever ran in my life, and I met that moment head on, and that's what I think every time I see the gold. So, I think it's definitely an interesting situation for sure, and I do think the Carson Wentz comp is about as close as you're going to get, but.
Now he was, and I would say this: he was an MVP candidate. Yeah. Carson Wentz was before he got injured. Same idea. I think Quincy was. He's there for a reason.
Yeah, for sure.
People much more qualified than us got him there or put him there because he balled out. By the time he got to this last, there's a lot of running to be done. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I know he wants another gold, but again, he is a 16-year-old gold medalist.
Yes.
That is the headline. I know internally he might say
for sure
that he wants something else. Chris thinks we're going to get that's getting him out of the
I think so. I think we did it right.
We're going to get to it when we return. Stiles and Watkins.
There's still no update.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
Hi, this is Frank LaRosa.
And this is Scott Marsh.
Join us weekly for Golf to Go right here on Sacktown Sports. We talk to all the local golf experts in the area and give you the latest on all the courses as well.
And not to mention all the golf legends and celebrities, along with all the latest in equipment and tournaments too.
Most importantly, we'll just have some fun talking about a game that's fun to play.
It's my favorite hour of the week, Frank.
Golf to Go, Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Saturdays at 8 a.m. right here on Sacktown Sports. Give us a listen. I think you'll enjoy it.
Hi, this is Greg Papa. Disasters hit every day. If your home, business, or building has suffered from any disaster, SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to and letting your focus be on what's most important, your family, or your business. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
At Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda, we make the dream of owning a new car easy and stress-free.
With prices that you just can't say no to. Save on our best selection of the year during the final days of the Honda Summer Event.
Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Number one claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's L1 report.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
I just showed Chris the race. And yeah, he was pretty much second to last when they handed it off. And look, again, he's going to be nasty. I'm talking specifically as it pertains to this race.
Yeah.
Getting a gold for this race. Another thing, Chris, I sent you this as the Noah Lyles versus Team USA battle continues. So Team USA, that same tweet that we were talking about when they say, are we world champions now?
Yeah,
a community note got added because technically FIBA World Cup represents the world champs, and you are just the Olympic champs. That's why they have Olympic records and world records.
Right.
And yeah, as far as the Olympics are concerned, the Team USA, Noah Lyles is still right.
Still technically right.
It's Germany.
Yep.
It's Germany, and
Dennis
nobody
Schroeder.
cares.
Dennis Schroeder is a world champion.
And nobody cares. Well, the Little League World Series, I mean, they do it right.
That's a world championship. That is a world championship.
And we can't deny
there.
that. We cannot deny that.
Is Europe involved? Do we have any European countries?
They
really?
are.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Do they have like France and stuff?
Yeah,
I've just never seen them. Really?
Oh, yeah.
I just assume they're not very good. I mean, baseball obviously probably isn't their main sport.
Oh yeah, and the Netherlands will be out there.
Wow, I don't think I've ever seen that. I've seen obviously tons of Southern California, South America teams out there, but never really noticed any of the European countries.
Yeah, no, the Dutch, they'll have a random 6 tour every season.
For sure.
12-year-old 6 tour. I am 12, and there you go. Okay, Nate, Chris is not going to get us off track again as we get into this Mike Garafolo sound, and this is from the insiders on NFL Network, where and this is where they currently were. This was at 4:22 yesterday, so things could change again. But this is what he had to say.
This situation has been uncomfortable. It's been contentious. It's still a little bit of both of those as we sit here right now, at least between Brandon Aiyuk and the 49ers. I'm going to try to inject a little bit of optimism here, because you talked about that Instagram post the other night, Tom, where Aiyuk said that there are 2 options. Let's just pick one, right? I dug into that a little bit, and what I've been told is that Brandon Aiyuk would prefer to stay with the 49ers and has always preferred to stay with the 49ers, all things being equal. Now, they haven't been equal, but they did make that offer. In fact, both sides sent proposals within the last, couple days, week or so. And the 49ers number has gotten better than what it was previously. And they have, from my understanding, they have agreed on a lot of the main points of the deal. Their offers are in line, but it sounds like there's just one more thing that needs to be ironed out. And if that thing gets ironed out, Brandon Aiyuk signs the deal. He stays with the 49ers. He drops the trade request. And finally, we can put this situation behind him, and the Niners can put it behind him. Look, they did the fourth quarter comeback with Deebo Samuel before, when he had the trade request. This would be like Montana to John Taylor, that kind of last-second type comeback. But it can happen. It has happened before. Thank you. Trying to keep the theme going. Look, as we've talked about leverage. The ball's in whose court? As far as Aiyuk is concerned, it sounds like the ball's in the 49ers court, and he's hoping that they can just make the final adjustment and get this thing done and stay with the Niners.
There you go. There you go. So basically the Niners have gone back to the drawing board to try to figure this thing out. And that leads us, Chris, to something you saw, and at this point, take everything with a grain of salt. This is from another 49ers kind of aggregator. They're claiming that the Niners have met Brandon Aiyuk. Everyone's got a source these days. Everybody's got a sauce, whether it's Chick-fil-A sauce or barbecue sauce or whatever it is. The San Francisco 49ers have met Brandon Aiyuk's demand of annual salary, nearly $28 million a year. The holdup, I'm told, this is from 49ers and NFL News 24/7, amount of years and guaranteed money on the deal. Niners want to give Aiyuk a 3-year extension, 4 years total. Brandon Aiyuk wants a 4-year extension, 5 years total. So again,
So now the money's fine. It's just the years.
It's just the years and the guarantee and the guarantee. And this leads us, Chris, to what a lot of people got to say, but Melanie Friedlander, she says personally, and she is a journalist for Fangirl and Steelers Depot, and she says personally, I think Brandon Aiyuk has played this perfectly. He used the Browns and Patriots to confirm his market value, and he found a viable new home in Pittsburgh whose offer isn't quite good enough for the 49ers. Now he just sits and waits until the 49ers give him what he wants or trades him to the Steelers. Masterclass in players using what leverage they have. You don't agree with that?
I guess. If he gets what he wants, I guess it is, as Melanie describes it, a masterclass. I just think that this is not I just think that this is not how you conduct business. This has just been a long, drawn-out process that has led us back to square one, where the Niners could have ended this months ago if they were already okay with eventually going up to that number. I don't see, I think they already knew that in the open market, Aiyuk would be worth a certain value. To me, in my opinion, I didn't think that was ever part of the question. I thought it was always just a matter of if the Niners felt like they wanted to personally value him at that dollar figure, because they operate on a little bit of a different scale than everybody else because of what they're paying their entire roster. Other teams can't afford to pay their can afford, I guess, to pay their players how Brandon Aiyuk wants to be paid, because they don't have ridiculously stacked rosters. So the Niners have to do a little bit different math than everybody else. I'd say all this to say, I don't know. I didn't really feel like this has been some master plan from Aiyuk to eventually end up on the Niners.
I think he got lucky.
I do. Yeah. I think that this very, very easily could have ended up with him on, a worse team. It still can end up with him on the Steelers, and whatever. If that's what he wants, then that's what he wants. But I don't know. This to me has not felt like it's been some big master choreographed plan. It feels like it's just kind of been workshopped together. And then at some point here, both sides kind of didn't get what they wanted, and now they're understanding that it'd be best if they just kind of come back together.
Yeah, I think at first, and look, people can pull the tape. Me and you, we did not agree with what Brandon Aiyuk was doing.
Yeah,
I think
from day one, literally the day after the Super Bowl, we were like, "What are you doing?" Bro?
Because you're taking on the monster boss, right? You're talking Bowser in Mario. Yeah. When you take on the man, when you take on the NFL or your organization, how many times does the player win, right? Especially when we were looking at his leverage, thinking, well, they just drafted Ricky Pearsall and they got Debo, right? They got a bunch of dudes. So how is he going to pull this off? I think honestly, where it flipped was when he got into the building, when he was able to annoy Kyle Shanahan
essentially
to the point where, okay, let's get him out of here. Oh, wait, he has to sign off. So they got stuck between a rock and a hard place, because I think they started realizing, okay, we do need him and we can't trade him if he doesn't sign off. So we have to try to figure something out. They could, I guess, really, and what I've been seeing is a lot of people saying when it comes to leverage, yes, the Niners still have it. They still have the fifth option, things like that. But I think a lot of people have undersold the human aspect of this and how the Niners don't want to look bad to other players as well. And because it is so blatantly obvious, Chris in pickup, and I didn't like to call fouls. I don't say I didn't like to call fouls. I'm not done, but who knows when I'm going to play again. I sometimes didn't call fouls. I was a slasher. I drove a lot. Sure. But when everybody stops and somebody's looking at you saying,
you gonna
call a foul?
Yeah.
And I say, well, obviously it was a foul. They said, well, just call it then. Just call it, right? Yeah. It's the same idea. Sure. Once DJ Moore got his money And we all knew that 26 million, obviously, relatively speaking, because we know somebody's going to say, I mean, I would take 20. We know you're also not Brandon Aiyuk, okay? So stop it. When DJ Moore got 27 and a half, that's when it's all blatantly obvious to everyone that this offer is not going to work.
Right.
And that is where I think the Niners started to lose leverage.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it was, it doesn't matter that you're the Niner. Yes, you could take a pay cut, but that's too much. It doesn't matter that you're the Niners. It doesn't matter that you have that you have your leverage per se and that you're a championship team and you got other options. Because if it did, you would have just moved off of him or whatever the case is. Once DJ Moore got signed for 27 and a half, they could no longer put up this facade that 26 million was okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where everything kind of flipped. And that's where, definitely, if you want to say some of it was planned, some of it was luck, that's where and maybe the plan was Aiyuk's agent saying, these are the dudes that are going to get paid.
Exactly, yeah.
And as this stuff continues to come out, this deal is going to look worse and worse. So just hold on, and we'll figure this thing out. Cool. Where I think it's been sticky is because Aiyuk hasn't been a Le'Veon Bell type of situation where I want to go. He wants to stay. Mm-hmm. So that's where this whole relationship thing to me is a bit confusing. And how they're going to be able to look. He gets in the building. I'm sure everything will be fine. But just the idea of, I mean, Mike Silver put out that article. Kyle Shanahan bothered.
Yes.
The word was bothered with Brandon Aiyuk, and they got to squash all this in a short period of time, Chris. And you know me, it's basically September.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the season's here already.
It's here already.
Yeah. I think you said it perfectly. Like, I think that you're right. Everything was a little bit better for the Niners in terms of a leverage standpoint when you and I were on here arguing, okay, well, if Amon-Ra St. Brown makes 26 and A.J. Brown makes 28. Well, I don't know if he's as good as A.J. Brown. I don't know. And then that was when, you would continually say, well, Amon-Ra is not in the same position as Aiyuk. Right. He's getting fed. So is it an argument of if he gets those touches, he would have that production, or what the conversation would be? And then exactly like you put, once DJ Moore's of the world started to kind of fill in that gap that wasn't there when he started to bridge the 26 through 28 and he was at 27 and a half. Well, now when we do that exercise, there's no question that the 27 and a half or whatever it was, 20, I can't remember what the exact figure was, but it fit in between that number. Yeah. There was no more, to your point, arguing about whether or not 26 was okay from a Niner perspective because of everything else that gets along. And that is definitely where things started to get a little bit sticky. I just think, again, Brandon Aiyuk has gotten lucky, and where I will hesitate to say this has been some grandmaster plan from him is I think he easily could have been traded to I guess he said no to the Patriots, but could have been traded to a worse team. And I don't think we would have been saying, wow, Brandon Aiyuk played this masterfully. I think he got lucky that the Niners were so willing to also try and keep Brandon Aiyuk, which, again, maybe he did factor into that as well. But I think that was if that was a calculation that he made, I think that was a pretty risky one to make because of all of the receiver depth that they have.
Right. Well, he found the trade partners, right?
Yeah.
But then
5 of them, right?
Right. Yeah. But then would say, well, he found the trade partners to prove, hey, these guys would pay me this type of money.
Right.
And I'm not even asking for for 30, 31 million, just give me X amount of dollars, whatever that is. So then when it was, okay, the Niners want to, and that's part of it, right? The Niners, okay, let's just get rid of Aiyuk. All right, well, the Patriots aren't going to do a deal unless Aiyuk says he'll sign an extension. Mm-hmm. So now you have to find a specific place that Aiyuk wants. Okay, well, then let's just bring him back in. Well, I guess that's the thing. If Aiyuk keeps saying no, and the Niners and this goes back to just the Niners not wanting to look bad, because leverage-wise, the Niners could say, if Aiyuk, if you don't want to go to the places that we found for you or that you found for yourself, then just sit and you can pay this money and collect it in fines. The problem is that we've learned this whole Ricky Pearsall, the Niners are cool without Brandon Aiyuk. It's not true.
Doesn't look good. Yeah.
And that is what I think Brandon Aiyuk did plan to say,
they're going to miss me. Yeah.
They're going to miss me when I'm gone. And I am Brock Purdy's number one target. We read the numbers yesterday. 116 for Brandon Aiyuk to 106 for Debo. So, and then the numbers go further and further down. And Debo's another year older. I know he looks in incredible shape, but he's another year older. So that's where I think this whole thing flipped. And the Niners, they went out. I think, and honestly, I think the Ricky Pearsall draft looks hilarious. And that's not to say he won't be bad, but but fighting back to keep Brandon Aiyuk after you went out with your chest out and sent your minions and your goons out to talk about how it's the best, it's a sleeper pick and all this stuff, which it still could. That's what I'm thinking. Is there something going on at training camp? I mean, we can get a meal here and maybe it's because he's been injured and they don't know what they have in Ricky Pearsall.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know what it is about these teams and their draft picks, whether it's Devin Carter or Ricky Pearsall. Just get on the court, get on the field.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point too, because, if you draft a receiver in the first round, I don't care what you say about, this is more of if you draft a receiver in the first round, especially a receiver, you better be able to play day one.
Ridiculous.
And it probably does speak a little bit. Now, it's not saying he's going to be bad or a flop or anything, but if they were seeing signs in camp or in the pre-draft process even that made them feel like, no, this guy really might be a serious problem and somebody that we need to work into our offense moving forward, I think they would have been a lot more willing to say, okay, let's let Aiyuk walk and we'll kick the tires on how Ricky Pearsall looks. But I think it's probably been, I'm not going to say, he hasn't looked good, but I think it's just probably been a little underwhelming from the standpoint of, we think this guy can play day one.
Right. And the reason,
an impact player.
The reason we're bringing it up is because the Niners and a lot of these holdups seem to be, from what we're hearing, they want a wide receiver.
Yeah.
I think what they thought was we can get a different type of package because that's why we're going to draft Ricky Pearsall if we have to move off Brandon Aiyuk.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden they're saying, well, can we get a why in the world would the Steelers trade off Pickens to get Aiyuk?
Doesn't make any sense.
Why would they do that? Why would they do that? Coming up next, we continue the conversation, and Mad Dog is upset. Why is everyone making the Olympics a big deal? But we continue the Brandon Aiyuk conversation. Ashley, we see you. We'll get to you on the other side. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
They're going to give it. No, it's a play action. Purdy going to roll left, throw for the end zone. Caught by George Kittle. He has the hat trick tonight, a career high. 3 touchdown catches for George. Touchdown, San Francisco.
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more. And then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
eBay Motors is here for the ride.
120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This year, Dell Technologies Back to School event is delivering impressive tech with an inspiring purpose. Learn how Dell is helping Computer Aid, whose work is helping solar community hubs with tech and AI literacy skills to empower remote, displaced, or disconnected communities around the world. Help Dell make a difference and shop AI-ready PCs powered by Snapdragon X Series processors at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
Where do you go when you need someone to represent you? For me, you want someone that is local and that you can actually get to and talk with. There are plenty of big branded lawyers out there with the name, but you never get to talk to them. So go to SAClegaldefense.com and connect with the law offices of Jonathan Gonzalez. He's local, he'll represent you, and he'll have your back. Whether it's expungements, wrongful termination, when you're in a spot when you need legal help, call the law offices of Jonathan Gonzalez at 916-304-9187.
Keep your family cool and comfortable this summer with Bell Brothers' best summer ever financing events. When you replace your AC system, we're offering 0 payments, 0 interest for 6 months on approved credit, then low fixed rate thereafter. That's right, 0 payments, 0 interest for 6 months on any new AC system. It's an incredible offer on an incredible new AC system, but only for a limited time. This offer is also available on any plumbing, water heater, or insulation projects over $1,000. So call Bell Brothers now. Your family will thank you because they'll be cool and comfortable. But you have to hurry. Our offer for 0 payment, 0 interest for 6 months, then low fixed rate thereafter ends soon. Estimates and second opinions are free. So call now to keep your family cool and comfortable during Bell Brothers' best summer ever event. Our number is 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com. That's thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Sacramento Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. They believe it's all about people and choices. Their goal is to find the car that fits your lifestyle. With their huge inventory of models, they've got the right car and, more importantly, at the right price every time. Experience for yourself why their customers drive away smiling. Discover the difference because it's not just about the car, it's also about the people. Experience the Sacramento Dodge Jeep and Chrysler difference off Business 80 next to Hagen Oaks, or you can find them online, SacSuperstore.com.
Sacktown Sports. Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Find out why Mad Dog is mad and whether you agree or disagree. But first, let's get to Ashley, who's been waiting on the line. 916-339-1140 if you want to be a part of the conversation. Ashley, Stiles Watkins, what you got for us?
So as far as the Brandon Aiyuk situation, one thing that I've been hearing also is not only, like, to me it sounds like the Niners also weren't interested in the package that the Steelers were offering. But as far as what you guys were mentioning in terms of the Aiyuk leverage on the personal level on his side, and doing right by the player, the more that you guys were talking about it, I think that it's not just underrated, but it's something that should be talked about more, because from a team like the Niners standpoint, you don't want to piss off the player in the sense that you're not going to get players wanting to come to you if you are doing that to your players. So if Aiyuk isn't signing off on any trades because he does prefer to stay in San Francisco, then to me it indicates that he has all the leverage, because he won't play if he doesn't get an extension, but he won't sign off on any trades because he wants to stay in San Francisco.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good point, Ashley. Thanks for the call, as always. Well, the main thing here, Chris, is really what Ashley said, that Aiyuk doesn't want to leave. A lot of these holdout situations, I mean, look at CeeDee Lamb, right? CeeDee Lamb, he's in a similar situation. We talked about it yesterday. I don't think CeeDee Lamb wants to leave. I mean, there's only so many places that you're going to be able to contend that can also pay you. A lot of these other teams that, I'd love to go. You know, where's a team that I'm thinking, and I don't know their cap situation for anything. If you think this guy is going to be the next coming, and I know you're dealing with JJ McCarthy, and what's the name of our guy who calls in? He always says Skull to you. I know you guys are struggling because he always says Skull. He's another Vikings fan. But the reason I bring up that division is because I'm surprised Brandon Aiyuk and CeeDee Lamb, and again, the money situation, I know they just paid Jordan Love, but Jordan Love and the Packers, I feel like they're missing a number one wide receiver. Their wide receivers are young.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you look around to all the other, if I'm CeeDee Lamb and you're not going to pay me, Jerry, where else can I go? I do not understand the Aiyuk. Maybe he really just likes Mike Tomlin, but I don't understand anything. Maybe they are actually secretly related, but I really just don't understand the fascination with going out to Pittsburgh for a lot of reasons. I mean, I'd rather go to would you rather go to Pittsburgh? And maybe I'm being disrespectful to Pittsburgh here because of their defense. Would you rather go to Pittsburgh or to San Diego or to LA?
For the Chargers?
For the Chargers.
I would definitely rather go to the Steelers for sure.
Really?
100%. I mean, from an organization, Mike Tomlin's never been under 500.
Justin Herbert, you need a receiver,
but the Chargers have been perennially a dumpster fire. I think it's more
don't
just
save them, huh?
You're betting on.
They don't want to be saved.
I mean, it's just. I mean, the Chargers situation especially is just. That's about as rough of an organizational standpoint as you can get in terms of just instability. I just think Pittsburgh. I mean, they have had consistency for years. I think Mike Tomlin's they've had like under 10 head coaches in their entire organizational history. He's obviously been their coach for a really long time. And yeah, he has the infamous stat of never being under 500. And I think that is at least if we are going to talk about, some of the situations that he can go to, like the Patriots, that wouldn't be good ones. At least you can convince yourself, hey, if I go to the Steelers, the ceiling might not be there, but at least I know the floor is pretty high. Mm-hmm. And maybe Brandon Aiyuk personally thinks, hey, if they add a receiver like me, who knows? Maybe we won't be a Super Bowl contender, but with those Steelers teams in the past, they haven't always had the best teams out there. They have had really, really good defenses, and sometimes their offense is just good enough. So I can see why Pittsburgh's probably the worst level team in terms of like their current standing. If I am an Aiyuk, that I would be willing to go with apart from the quarterback. Like I would let the quarterback situation be what it is because I would just trust that Pittsburgh can at least get to 500 football.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. And let's see if this is fair or foul from Mad Dog Russo. And he is saying he doesn't understand. Of course, he references some game from back in the day, but this is Mad Dog Russo saying how he doesn't really understand why everybody is clamoring about Team USA and what they pulled off. It wasn't that big of a deal. We're working on getting that for you it's loading.
Mad Dog.
Mad Dog.
Mad Dog Mad. Who would have guessed?
Load the heat here.
Of this USA basketball on the men's side making a big deal about winning a gold medal.
Oh, come on,
Stephon Curry putting people to sleep. It's a 10-day tournament.
That was the great Stephon.
Calm down.
Stephen.
They are whatever his name is.
Whoa. Steph Curry with the shots.
Tournament. They play 6 games, and you know what they were favored? You know what they were favored in the gold medal game? By 16 points. They got 1 million Hall of Famers on this team. And then Durant is tweeting after the game, look at me with all these gold medals.
And he's on the slide.
Calm down, guys. Calm down. The most significant gold medal in basketball we ever won, without a doubt, is 1976, because that's after we got absolutely killed in 72 in Munich. But the idea that we are going to make a big deal that Durant and Davis and Embiid and Booker and Curry and LeBron, these are some of the greatest basketball players in the history of creation, and they beat Evan Fournier and was supposed to get excited. I mean, and Baton, whatever his name is. I mean, you got to be kidding me that this is that big deal. I was rooting for France for crying out.
Wow.
Oh, I've had enough of the
Get out
Olympic
of our country
basketball.
right now.
Enough, and enough.
The only thing I would ask Mad Dog is how many NBA players were on teams from other countries in 1976. That's the first thing I would ask.
I would guess under 2 if I had to guess. If I just had to throw a number out.
And I think that just eliminates that just kills the whole argument. I mean,
he also literally mispronounced Stephen Curry. So,
Stephon.
I mean, at that point, you literally have no credibility I'm pretty sure my grandma knows like how to pronounce.
Reminds me of Family Matters when Steve Urkel changed into Stephon.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Don't disrespect Batum either, man.
Yeah, or his girl will chime in. That's why Batum in.
Mad Dog being mad, I get it. It's I could understand why maybe on TV it plays, but I think that's like, it's almost like you put it on for children. Like what do we like? It's like, hey, it's loud noises and I know. Yeah, go ahead.
Baby Stiles loves First Take because it's just so much going on.
A lot happening. It's a
she
lot
loves
happening.
First Take and she loves Inside the NBA on TNT. She will sit there.
Yeah.
Like it's Miss Rachel.
Yeah.
She won't move.
I'm sure. And you know what? Like it turns out that a lot of adults, myself included, are just big babies. Like we're just big children. That's all it is. Like, I think it really is as simple as that sometimes I guess we just like to sit in front of a video box that screams at us, and couldn't be me, but I guess that's entertainment to some people, but that's insane. I mean, that is insane. To mispronounce Steph Curry's name without it being a bit, or at least not a noticeable bit, is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
On national television, ESPN should honestly be ashamed. That's crazy.
Wow. Chris,
that's crazy. I mean, that's crazy. He said Stephon Curry.
Yeah.
Like, what do we do? Like, what? LeBron James? Like, what are we talking about?
What? And then he said, Fournier.
Like, I mean, stick to baseball, buddy.
Yeah. Well, and
I'll stick
sure
out of baseball.
Yeah,
you stick to it.
I'm sure he'd love to. Coming up next, and we're seeing a lot of people chime in here. This is how you know this show. We're approaching a year. According to Alan, we're already at a year. So we're approaching a year, and this is how we know the show is really growing. And Chris is really making a name for himself. So many people pouring in, just giving their condolences to Chris on JJ McCarthy and the Vikings. So we will give Chris his time. We will give Chris his time to speak later in the show. Okay. But coming up next, the 11 o'clock hour, we go hardcore Kings and hardcore NBA during the 11 o'clock hour. And that's what we're about to do. Who could be the best kept secret on the Kings yesterday? We talked about Bleacher Report bringing up Keon Ellis. But what if I told you it was Red Velvet? Kevin Huerter gets his revenge this coming season. Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sacktown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
Sacramento, Dirks Bentley's coming to town.
What was I thinking? I'm getting drunk.
Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo for Country in the Park 2. And he's bringing some friends. Parmalee, Tyler Rich, Dasha, Kelsey Hart, and more. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo. Get your tickets today before they're sold out at CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by Arby's of Sacramento and Hoblet Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram Center.
Whitey here reminding you that not all gas grills are created equal. Bring out all the delicious flavors in your grilled meats with the amazing Napoleon Prestige and Prestige Pro line of outdoor cookers. My Napoleon Stainless Steel Pro Series gas grill has turned me into a grilling pro with features other grills cannot match. They're built different, built better, built to last. made with premium stainless steel that boasts quality and a lifetime warranty. I may never want to cook indoors again. Napoleon grills and accessories are now available at your nearby Amy's, Ace Hardware in Sacramento, and now El Dorado.
We all know what UV rays can do to our skin, but they can also do damage to your car. Keep that from happening with 303 Protectant. 303 Protectant keeps the sun's harmful rays from causing fading and cracking in rubber, plastic, or vinyl surfaces. From the dashboard to the tires, 303 Protectant keeps your car looking new longer. Get 303 Protectant today at Advanced Auto Parts. Visit 303radio.com for more information.
With Progressive, you get more than savings. You get access to us through our mobile app, online chat, or by phone.
Oh, I see what you're doing here, Jamie. Giving me all these ways to stay in touch so I have no excuse not to. Well, you're in luck, because this guy's in the market for a new BFF.
Actually, all our customers can contact us this way.
Oh, yeah, no, I was just kidding.
But I am always up for Taco Pizza!
Get help from Progressive through the website, app, chat, or phone. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
For most of the people that walk in our store, it's been an ongoing, nonstop issue, and they're finally walking into the Good Feet store. Okay, the guy that came into my store last year that has had plantar fasciitis for 30 years. I looked at him, I said, "Are you kidding me? I've been here for 14. Where have you been?" I helped relieve a problem that's plagued him for 30 years. I mean, how do you not go home and talk about that?
Come to the Good Feet store now for a free fitting and test walk.
Experience a golf tournament as refined as you are. The Pro Court Championship at Silverado Resort, September 12th through the 15th. Be there as the best of Napa meets the best of the PGA Tour. With world-class wine experiences, breathtaking views, and incredible golf. It's like this weekend was made for you. The Pro Court Championship, September 12th through the 15th. For tickets, go to ProCourtChampionship.com.
Lead generation is one of the most important aspects of any marketing campaign. Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products or services to them. Go to aimyourdigital.com today. aimyourdigital.com.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your flagship station for the Beam Team.
Should we light the beam? Light the beam, baby.
Sacktown Sports. Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's from the 279. I don't know if it's the same 279 that we always talk to. Looking at it, looks like they sent it right around the beginning of the show, as this will kick off our Kings talk. And it's crazy because Chris keeps saying, "Alan, can we just stay on this Aiyuk thing? You never know when something's going to break."
Yeah,
and I
that is
said, "Chris, we have to get to Kings. I mean, we are the flagship. We are the home. We got to light the beam." This is from the 279. Can I get a shout out to my two sons, Nixon and Jameson, great names, starting third grade and kindergarten today.
Wow.
Let's go, boys. Celebrating by taking them to get new Kings hats and jerseys today after school. Light the beam. That was an hour ago. Hopefully, 279, you're still listening. Shout out to your two sons starting third grade, kindergarten. School is back in session. I mean, summer just flew by. Next thing you know, it'll be prom, Chris. It'll be prom.
Prom? My goodness.
No, not
We're
for them.
skipping
No,
over-
not for them. I'm saying for those in high school.
Yeah, I know. No, but you still got homecoming beforehand. Prom's like at the end of the year.
Time flies, man.
Talking about graduation. next, you know?
Now I'm fully into the bit. There's no going back. And there's no going back, Chris, with some of the things that I won't speak for you. Some of the things that I said about Kevin Huerter this past season. We've talked about Kevin Huerter so much, and he is such an important part of the Kings offense. And, you know, for one reason or the other, Kevin Huerter was not who the Kings needed him to be this past season. And it's because of that when the darkest of the night comes before the dawn. It's because of that that Kevin Huerter might just be that secret weapon to unlock and to keep this offense free flowing this upcoming season. We know, we've talked about Keegan Murray. We know how important Keegan Murray is, but Kevin Huerter coming off a really, really tough season. And when you talk about the 3-point percentage, this was the worst 3-point percentage as far as shooting of his career. Okay. Only one other time he dropped down to 36%, and that was in 2021. Besides that, he's at 38. Last 2 seasons ago, he was at 40. So Kevin Huerter, Chris, as he has been I mean, you talk about Kevin Huerter. How many chips does one need on a shoulder? Okay. You have Kevin Huerter, who
I wouldn't put too much pressure on that shoulder.
Well, he's rehabbing. He's good.
We'll see.
It depends on the shoulder. On the good shoulder, good shoulder. And it wasn't the shooting shoulder. So you have Kevin Huerter, who is coming off just a really rough season. You have Kevin Huerter, who had to deal with injury. You have Kevin Huerter, who even before the injury, he was in the trade talks with Harrison Barnes.
Sure.
And we all talk about once this stuff gets into these guys are human. And once this stuff gets out into the basketball world, the media, if you get moved, it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't get moved, now you have Monty McNair during the summer league talking about all the good things that Kevin Huerter does, and we had some fun with that conversation, whether or not he was helping to try to move Kevin Huerter or just, hey, this guy can really help. And I think the answer was both.
Yeah.
So you look at Kevin Huerter and what he can bring to a team. I have no clue, Chris, as we talk about the starting lineups, if he's going to be a starter, if he's going to come off the bench. But if he is able to get that shot back and just do what is asked of him, even if it is to come off the bench, this guy could be somebody that we're thinking, and really you, because I have to be convinced, right? But really, people like you have said, Kevin Huerter, you believed in him all season long. Kevin Huerter can. He can really unlock this offense, because now you're looking around and there's nobody that you can't help. If DeMar DeRozan's cooking, you can't help off of De'Aaron. You can't help off of Keegan. And now you can't help off of Kevin Huerter. Or if you do, now he burns you. This could be the key, man. This could be the key, or one of the keys.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think Kevin is, like, he's a dynamite shooter. I mean, that was the strangest thing about last year, is that we knew that he would have question marks across the board. His defense, his dribbling, his passing, all those things we knew were going to be problems. But the fact that the one thing that he was supposed to do very, very, very well, all of a sudden he couldn't do at all. And you can kind of see it just affect everything else. He tried to, supplement the shooting with, hey, maybe a little bit more aggression on the defensive end. It's just not his bag. If he's not hitting shots, he's not really being super helpful to the team. He's very replaceable, frankly, if he's not hitting his shots, because he doesn't really do anything else at an elite level. And, you can maybe say the same thing for Keon Ellis. If he's not stopping people, I don't know how effective he's going to be. So it's not just a Kevin Huerter specific thing. But, yeah, when you see him struggle the way he did last year, it just brings up a lot of questions. And I will say, and did say, last year is the worst I could ever see Kevin Huerter playing, and we got through it. It wasn't good. It's not like the Kings thrived without him, but even if Kevin Huerter, he doesn't have to reach the levels that he had 2 years ago when you mentioned he shot 40% and had that great beam team season. It was a career year for him, 15 points a game. All of it was great, but he's got to be some version of that. Again, he doesn't have to be that guy, but he's always been a pretty streaky shooter. You look even in that beam team season, he would have months where he came out the first, I think, month and a half and shot 50% from three on like 6 or 7 attempts. He was on fire. And then he cools down. He goes like 33% for a month. I think the thing with him is just making sure that the lows don't go as low as what we've seen specifically last year. I think it's fine if he's not a 40% shooter every month, but don't be worse than 36. Definitely try to not be worse than a 35% three-point shooter, because this team needs it, especially now more than ever. You get rid of Harrison Barnes. We make a lot of jokes about Harrison Barnes on this show, but he was still one of the Kings shooters. And now it really is just Kevin Huerter. It's Keegan Murray. And besides that, you really can't say that there is just a straight up knockdown shooter on this team. Of course, Malik has the capability to hit threes, but he's been under 36%, honestly, for most of his Kings career. I think it's really, really important for Kevin to space the floor, especially like you said, with DeRozan out there. He's going to need to be the Kings floor spacer when they have, frankly, at least two non-spacers on the floor at pretty much all times, at least.
Yeah, and look, that's the thing, man. I know it's an overused term, but pressure either busts pipes or makes diamonds, and this is. It's money time for Kevin Huerter. It's money time. I know he's only 25, 26 years old,
which is crazy.
But everyone is still trying to figure out, well, what are you going to be in this league? Even if it's not with the Kings, but are you gonna be a guy that comes off the bench? Are you just going to be a Joe Harris and kind of just fade? Are you going to be able to evolve in your game? Who are you going to be in this league? Because just like every season, Chris, there are more dudes coming out. And I know Kevin Huerter has some good length on him, but if you aren't able to do what your calling card is, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And you were talking Tristan, and I know it's just summer league, but guys like Tristan da Silva just randomly popping up and balling out.
For sure.
So if I can find somebody that can defend and is only a percentage or 2 percentages worse than you shooting the 3-point ball and can get to the rack and do different things, I'm sorry, man. I mean, you again. We've used this term with Kevin Huerter and a couple players on the team, DH, right? If your DH is not hitting in baseball, that's a waste of a spot in the lineup. That's a waste, okay? And you are more, hey, man, I know you've been raking in BP and batting practice. Well, we got to get somebody else in there because you're not giving us anything on defense. So why continue to ride with you? You're just much more replaceable. So when you are a specialist, we'll put it like that. When you are a specialist, and what you specialize in is not working, what are you going to do?
Yeah, 100%. And I think the difference this year, too, is the Kings have options, so they can go away. It's not that, last season we did kind of have to chill out in the Kevin Huerter pool for a while because there was, are we going to play Chris Duarte more? Are we going to?
And they tried.
And they tried. They definitely tried, and he never stepped up. And now we have Keon as an option. We have Malik obviously as an option. DeMar DeRozan can honestly eat into Kevin Huerter's minutes. When if Devin Carter comes back, he can eat into his minutes. Colby Jones might get some run this year. So there's definitely more options this year where if things don't go in the direction that Kevin Huerter wants it to go, in the direction I think the Kings want it to go, at the very least, they can possibly skip off of it and move on to somebody else. But obviously, I think it's kind of like a bit like the Brandon Aiyuk situation. I think things are best if Kevin Huerter is on the Kings, and I think things are best for the Kings if they can keep Kevin Huerter and get him back to the guy that we saw 2 years ago, because that guy was very, very useful. And even if he's again, not at the same exact level that he was that season, having a guy like that coming off your bench or even just having him in your lineup in general, that's dangerous. You could really utilize that as a weapon. And again, with DeMar DeRozan, with so much attention going to be put on him, so much attention put on De'Aaron Fox, probably increased attention put on Malik Monk, and hopefully there's some attention on Keegan Murray too. I don't see why Kevin Huerter can't have a bounce back season. It really is just, to me, a matter of if his shoulder is going to heal in the way that we hope it does. And all indications definitely are that should be the case. So I'm mildly concerned about how his season goes, but for the most part, I believe, and that's really all that I have to go on, is just belief that Kevin Huerter is going to have a bounce back year.
You are more optimistic than pessimistic that he will get back.
Yeah, for sure.
Even if that bounce back isn't being team level, just get to 38.
38 is what I'm
just get to 38% and shoot with confidence and be a threat.
Yeah, I don't want to see fear in his eyes.
No.
I saw a lot of fear in Kevin Huerter's eyes last year.
Coming up next, Bleacher Report gives a reason not to overlook each team in the NBA. We'll discuss what they had to say about the Kings and see if you agree or not. By the way, 279 saying, let's go light the beam. You can call me Murph. Love the show. My sons will appreciate it. Shout out to you, Murph, and your two boys. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
What's the missing piece for the 49ers?
Which names will they add during free agency? Whether it's in season or off season, the coverage never stops. Get the latest 49ers news on Sacktown Sports at sacktownsports.com.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. What's going on for the Make This the Summer Sales event?
We're calling it the Hoblet Ramapalooza. Right now, we have the biggest savings I can remember, with up to $18,000 off MSRP on new 2024 Ram 1500 Laramie and limited Hemi 4x4s. And with over 400 new Rams available available. You're sure to find your perfect new Ram truck at the Hoblet Ram Truck Center.
Now, what's this I hear about a Hoblet pre-owned super center?
We are super excited to celebrate the grand opening of the Hoblet Certified Pre-Owned Super Center. We have over 200 used cars available and over 80 under 20,000.
Well, you heard the man. Ramapalooza happening now, and you've got to check out the new Hoblet Certified Pre-Owned Super Center. Search, select, and save through their full selection at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
18,000 net savings on select new 2024 Ram 1500 Laramies after 11,500 factory rebates and 6,500 dealer discounts. Rebates may include up to $3,000 in Hoblet coupons or $2,000 rebate for eligible trade-ins. All coupons available while supplies last. 5 trucks at this net savings. See dealer for details. Simple VIN 178528.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
He'll eat the table.
Nate's hungry. Nate, I saw you eating back there, though. Stiles and Watkins. You can't get Petra now. You already had lunch. Alan brings stinky lunches. Okay. Just going to stare at me. All right. Mexico leads 1-0 against Aruba.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful places, both of them.
I know, yeah, no problems there. I mean, I was very unfamiliar with Aruba's game. I had no idea where it was. I just looked at it a couple breaks ago and looks lovely. It's literally just like an island at the tip of the like the northeast tip of South America, and it just is amazing to me. And I was telling you this during the break that you get these tiny islands, you know, all over the Little League World Series. And they're great. It's just insane that these little tiny plots of land produce such great baseball talent. And it's amazing. And I'm sure, you know, I know the NBA is obviously trying to expand over to India and China. And, you know, those are obviously a lot bigger land masses, but it's just really interesting to me that baseball is just such a universal sport that everybody, you know, I get it. It can be cheap. You can play stickball, you know, you just need a crumbled up piece of paper and a twig. But, you know, it's just so interesting to me that they can produce such high level talent in just these tiny, the most remote of places. It's really amazing and a testament to the sport itself. It really is like, I mean, of course, soccer is the world sport, but it really is such a worldly sport.
That is a good conversation as we are slowly but surely running out of time in the summer.
Running out of summer, I know.
Yeah,
season,
but that is a good conversation as far as the sports internationally. I mean, I think the battle would come down to, if soccer's number one, the battle would come down to baseball or basketball.
I would think as the number two. Yeah.
As number two. That's
and I would probably give the edge of baseball.
I think you'd have to.
Would.
I think you'd have to.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's obviously growing basketball.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, it's insane.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's also insane to overlook the Kings, as some outlets already have, and that's just what national media tends to do. All right, Chris, Bleacher Report gives a reason not to overlook each team, and of course we're going to focus on the Kings. What did they have to say?
They had some pretty interesting things, I will say. Bleacher Report sometimes does get some flack for being a bit of like an aggregator site or a site that is just kind of not even pay for clicks, but just really is a bit clickbaity and not super you know, informative or anything like that. I thought this was actually a really good piece in general. The Kings stuff is okay, but definitely as far as Kings coverage goes from a national standpoint, I think it's pretty good. They said the one thing to not overlook for the Sacramento Kings this year is, and I love, you can tell it's one of Bleacher Report's younger writers, the offense is so back is the title. And anyone against the Sacramento Kings acquisition, this is, again, from Bleacher Report, anyone against the Sacramento Kings acquisition of DeMar DeRozan is either put off by the teams surrendering a 2031 pick swap, aggrieved by a supposedly offensive first leaned further into that model, or both. Those points of contention carry merit. They can also lose the plot. Sacramento's offense last year was, again, you can tell this is a young writer. Sacramento's offense last year was not the thermonuclear AF machine that it formulated in the lab during the 22-23 campaign when it ranked first in points scored per possession. Last season, they dropped to 14th and 15th when operating in the half court. Hovering around league average on the more glamorous end isn't good enough even if you're an elite defensive team, Sacramento wasn't the latter. It discovered some pesky combinations that helped a ton. Shout out Keon Ellis. But this squad is supposed to win with its offense, which I will say we've talked about in the past. Should you just lean into your offense and kind of say, not forget defense, but if offense is where your bread is buttered, why try and balance it out and end up being in the middle instead of just being really great at one thing and really exceeding in that level? This is again from Bleacher Report on the one reason not to overlook every NBA team. Enough excuses came into play for the Kings to prioritize somebody else over DeRozan. Late season injuries hit Malik Monk and Kevin Huerter, the latter of whom was also in the midst of a down year. But Sacramento needed another outside in creator, even with them in the full. De'Aaron Fox is the lone other option to meet those standards. Domantas Sabonis, more of a driver. Malik Monk, more is best going downhill. These are the limits to what Huerter and Keegan Murray can do off the dribble. Not surprisingly, Fox was the only rotational staple last season to score more than half of his buckets unassisted. None of Sacramento's perimeter players, meanwhile, posted a noticeably above average free throw rate. DeRozan addresses both issues, amongst others. And while he introduces some obstacles, potentially spacing, his addition profiles as more of a much needed feature than a potential bug. So there you go. Bleacher Report essentially saying the offense is back. DeMar, and they are on team DeRozan actually improves this roster, which I love. Alan, my question for you, do we believe it? Is the Kings offense actually back? And I think when we say back, it has to be top 5.
Yeah, I
top
mean,
10's not counting it.
That's the same conversation we were having where Kevin Huerter is very important. Malik Monk coming back from injury as well. Obviously, it was injury later in the season due to he got Luka Doncic and everything like that. So I would say yes. I mean, I think, again, the question is how well training camp goes and how long does we got to figure out who's doing what in this offense. How long does that last? If it takes a couple games, right? Let's say the first 5 games to figure out exactly, okay, this is how this thing is going to fit. This is who Keegan Murray is going to be. We already know who Kevin Huerter is going to be. If that's all figured out in under 10 games, then I think that the Kings could really get out and rolling. If you get to game 15, 20, and we're still not sure, okay, is this still De'Aaron Fox's team and DeMar DeRozan, or they're playing hot potato because they're being too nice on the other side of it? We saw that with the Warriors early on, where Kevin Durant and Clay and Steph would just pass it around. You shoot, no, you shoot. And then it got figured out very quickly. I think that was under 20 games for sure. If you can figure all that out, the quicker you can figure that out, the better. I'm looking at the first 10 games. Figure out who's going to do what, and it's going to evolve. But we can't get to game 20 and we're wondering what Keegan Murray is. Right. And maybe it's unfair because 20 games is going to blink and we're going to be there. Yeah. But if you get to game 20 and we're still having questions on, okay, how does Chris, are you going to see a lineup with DeMar DeRozan, De'Aaron Fox, and Malik Monk? How do you put out a lineup like that? I feel like it's
with Keegan and Sabonis.
I mean, I just feel like there's going to be Malik Monk is just going to be the odd man out, or somebody's going to be the odd man out in a lineup like that. I just think it could get awkward.
Sure.
Yeah, and I wonder.
I think that's the fear for sure.
I think you can figure it out. I'm just saying, how long until Mike Brown figures out the rotations and what works and what doesn't? You start approaching, anything past 20 games. I think now it just happens. The NBA is the longest, shortest season in sports because it feels really long, but you look up and say, dang, they played 30 games already and we're still having these questions. Dang, it's 40 games already. So how long does it take for everyone to figure out, okay, this is who I am in this offense, this is who I am in this defense, and we're just going to rock and roll from there. So to answer your question in only a long-winded way like I can, I would say the offense is back. The question is, when will we see it full throttle?
Do you think they will be a top 5 offense? Last year, offensive rating.
Yeah, please.
Pacers, Boston Celtics, Thunder, Clippers, Nuggets, top 5.
Where were they?
The Kings were 13th.
No.
10. Yeah.
You know? I don't think they have to be, though. I could see them 7, right? I could see them between 10 and 5. That's asking a lot. You got to cook all season long.
They were the number 1 offense in the league 2 seasons ago when they were in that first Beam Team season, set all kinds of NBA records for efficiency and all that stuff. I think they can. I mean, I think the offense is much better than it was in terms of the weapons they have. I definitely share some of the concerns that you listed out, especially in the closing lineup with Malik and DeRozan and De'Aaron and all that. I think it's going to take some time to figure out who's got one ball, but I think that's a good problem to have. I think they just have closers. Agreed. And I think they have a lot of selfless guys that, are going to work to figure it out. I just think that this offense cannot be stopped. It does play into my whole narrative of, I think DeMar DeRozan is still incredibly underrated for this Kings team. And I just think that their offense is going to be an absolute juggernaut when they are humming. It might take them 10, 15 games or so, but I really don't have many concerns on the offensive end of things. And frankly, I really think that their defense is going to be okay, but I think that their bread is going to be buttered on the offensive end. And I think at the very least, this team is going to be incredibly fun and one that, I think definitely is going to be an unstoppable offense every night.
Top 10 for sure. I'm top 10 for sure. I'm not sure they can creep into top 5, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I want them to. So let's get to the other side. And when we get back, TC, we see it. We will continue the conversation. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out sacktownsports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on sacktownsports.com.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number Limited Edition smart bed, plus free home delivery on select smart beds when you add any base. Limited time. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
With only 3 homestands left, the Sacramento Rivercats season is nearing the end. Make your plans to head to the ballpark this week while the Rivercats are in town. Join us on Friday, August 16th for the Mount Core 4 statue giveaway as we celebrate the San Francisco Giants bullpen legacy of Jeremy Affeldt, Santiago Casilla, Javier Lopez, and Sergio Romo. Be one of the first 2,500 fans through the gates to secure this item. For a complete promotions calendar and to purchase your tickets, visit rivercats.com.
At Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda, we make the dream of owning a new car easy and stress-free.
With prices that you just can't say no to. Save on our best selection of the year during the final days of the Honda Summer Event.
Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Number 1 claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company sold on report.
The PGA Club fitters at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio know that golf should be fun. They also know that players of all abilities will hit the ball farther and straighter, play better golf, shoot lower scores, and have more fun if they get fitted before they purchase golf clubs. Hagen Oaks delivers the same technology and major brands used to fit PGA and LPGA professionals. See how the game can be even more fun. Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
Sacramento, Dirks Bentley's coming to town.
What was I thinking? I'm getting drunk all the
Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo for Country in the Park 2. And he's bringing some friends. Parmalee,
I love you just the way
Tyler Rich, Dasha, Kelsey Hart, and more. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo. Get your tickets today before they're sold out at CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by RVs of Sacramento and Hoblet Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram Center.
It's a myth to think you don't play golf well enough to get fitted for golf clubs. The professionals at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio would argue that playing the game with golf clubs properly fitted to your body and swing characteristics is the best way to improve your game and have more fun on the golf course. With a professional staff of fitters, all the major brands of equipment, and cutting-edge technology featuring TrackMan, the indoor-outdoor Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio is worth a look. See for yourself, Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway. Schedule your fitting at 916-808-2531, 808-2531.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sepp Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is. Live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sepp Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sepp's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sacktown Sports 1140.
What sets Ashton & Price apart from other injury law firms? I'll tell you. From beginning to end, all important legal decisions are made directly between our clients and their experienced local attorney. A gate agent flying the plane, the receptionist performing surgery, not a chance. There's simply no substitute for the unique power of the direct attorney-client relationship offered by Ashton & Price. And there's never a fee until we win, and between you and me, we win a lot.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Sacktown Sports. Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Chris, I'm seeing what you posted here. TC, we see you. We're about to get to you. Chris, I'm seeing what you posted here.
There's a couple things I posted.
No, yeah, you've been up in your X game, your Twitter game. We ain't calling it X, by the way. I'm done.
I have never.
I'm calling it Twitter. We like the bird. We like birds. I'm seeing what you posted about the NBA 2K.
Oh, that trash game. Yeah.
So they don't even have De'Aaron Fox, who was the leader in steals, in the top 5 for steal rating.
They sure don't. I mean, it's supposed to be a video game. It's supposed to be fun. You would think that, it's just as simple as, hey, let's look at the steal leaders from last season and let's give them pretty good steal ratings. No, I mean, they just decided to start at number 3, and 2K's top steal attribute guys are the guys with the highest steal ratings. Matisse Thybulle, who finished 3rd in steals in the NBA last year.
A 98?
98 steal for Matisse Thybulle. Alex Caruso, 97 is number 2. Marcus Smart, not featured in the top 10, is a 96. DeLon Wright, 96. For some reason, they had to make sure to get that DeLon Wright 96 in there. And Dyson Daniels, 96 as well. Doesn't make any sense. De'Aaron Fox, it's whatever. Hey, we get it. De'Aaron doesn't get the shine he deserves. That's fine. How are you not going to have Shea? Shea, who also had 2 steals per game, tied with De'Aaron for most in the league. Not featured at all. So
what does De'Aaron have?
Don't know. They only released top 5.
I see.
Only released top 5. So we will, I guess, have to wait and see to see what De'Aaron is rated in 2K. But
this
nobody
is
plays
so
that
ridiculous. Yeah. This is just so ridiculous. The disrespect. Go take what's yours, Sacramento Kings. Take what's yours. 916-339-1140. TC wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, TC? What you got for us?
Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up, Alan and Chris? Hey, before I get started, bro, can y'all hear me?
We got you. Yeah.
All right, listen, Chris, my bad, bro, about J.J. McCarthy. I had a feeling he was going to tear it up this season, too, bro. That's heckin' gay, man.
It's not great.
That whole knee injury, that's
on the move. Got somewhere to...
I didn't even hear what he said.
We will get back to the convo. Okay. And, TC just giving Chris some condolences for one J.J. McCarthy. And, I mean, that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. It's just, Chris, your purple teams just Just not doing you right.
I just can't have nice things. I don't know what I did in some previous life or something like that, but I've been cursed with the worst fandom of all time. I mean, I know everybody says it's them, but I promise you, Sacramento Kings, Minnesota Vikings is just a lethal combination. It just really is. I was listening yesterday to a podcast trying to get some more information on just how severe JJ's injury was, and they literally refer to the day that Teddy Bridgewater tore his ACL at practice. It was supposedly like the worst day people talk about that day legitimately like somebody died. Like 100% people talk about the day Teddy Bridgewater tore his ACL his rookie season like somebody passed away. And they mention it by date. It's like January 6th. They say, oh my God, August 29th, 2020, whatever. That is the date that lives in infamy. And, it was Dante Culpepper had a similar problem with his shoulder, I believe. Brett Favre ended up getting hurt. They had Sam Bradford for a couple of years. He ended up getting hurt. And then Kirk Cousins, in a weird way, brought the Vikings organization some stability for 6 or 7 years. And all of a sudden, all the curses and everything felt like it was put a little bit to the back burner. You kind of struggle on a different plane, but back on the horse and back on the bike. The Vikings now, again, are dealing with sadness when it comes to the quarterback position. And it wasn't even that JJ was going to, I know TC said he thought JJ was going to light it up this year. I wasn't even sure if JJ was really going to play. I said on this show, I thought week 6 was kind of the one after the Vikings bye week, but man, I just think it's just a lost season, and now it puts obviously a lot of pressure on his 2025 season being great. That's now pretty much a redo of his rookie year. And the worst part, honestly, Alan, and maybe Nate can sympathize with this, but now I have to believe in Sam Bradford. Sam Bradford. This is where my brain is at. Sam Darnold. He is now like my only option. And I was thinking about this yesterday in a weird way. I should make a pitch to Niner fans to say, hey, there's no reason for them to switch off the Niners now. But if you were ever thinking switching off the Niners, we've got 2 wonderful former Niner quarterbacks ready to go. Sam Darnold, Nick Mullins. They were the 2 probably best, like random off-stray quarterbacks from the Shanahan era. So, if you were somebody who thinks Kyle doesn't know what he's doing from a personnel standpoint and should have played those 2 guys or played long-term, come over to Minnesota because those are our only options now. So, it's great to know that I am potentially a sack away from Nick Mullins being my quarterback. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to be on the Niners all season long because I will not be watching many Vikings games into the fourth quarter.
You never know with Sam Darnold. I think
we do. I think we literally do know with Sam Darnold.
Look, I'm going to give you your space right now as far as the Vikings are concerned. We will revisit because Sam Darnold, he can spin that thing, Chris. All right. We are not that far removed from prior to the Niners season. People thinking if Brock Purdy stumbles, I got the Dan Orlovsky sound. I saved it somewhere.
Yeah.
If Brock Purdy struggles, Sam Darnold has looked good.
Yeah.
So any KG, Kevin Garnett, anything is possible, but today is not the day for that. Today is just the day for you trying to pick up the pieces.
No, I mean, I don't see why today isn't a good day for that conversation. It sounds like that's a semi-joyous conversation to have. I just think that we don't have Christian McCaffrey. That's the biggest difference. Aaron Jones is great, but he's on the wrong side or pushing towards the wrong side of 30 if he's not already. But I will say the Vikings do have are built as close to the Niners as you can. You get arguably better receiver. I don't even think it is arguable. You get a better receiving core with JJ and Jordan Addison to Aiyuk and Debo, and you do have a really dynamic running back in Aaron Jones, obviously not to the level of Christian McCaffrey, and you have a great tight end, TJ Hawkinson to George Kittle. Would also say we probably have better line. We got Christian Darrisaw, we got Brian O'Neill on the other side. I'm just saying, Niner fans, if you really, really are not, for whatever reason, a Brock Purdy believer, come on over to Minnesota. We definitely can use some fans right now.
I'm sold.
Yeah.
I'm so
scold. Come on over. Scold it up.
I'm scold.
Scold it up.
There you go.
Yeah.
We got to go to break.
Coming up next, we will have a conversation about the NBA 3-on-3. If they had an NBA 3-on-3 tournament, how would the Kings fare, and who do you think would win that tournament? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity Mobile. Connect to the most reliable 5G network nationwide. Well, the future has been on display down in Stockton, the A's affiliate in the California League. Beginning on the 10th of August, the top 4 hitters taken by the A's in this year's draft have been in the lineup. Nick Kurtz, Tommy White, Joshua Kuroda-Grauer, and Rodney Green, the outfielder from Cal. In that game, those guys combined for 10 hits, and Kurtz hit a home run.
Want to save on some of the biggest names in streaming on the network made for streaming? Now through September 21st, get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for 12 months with a 1-year contract. And for just $15 a month, add the new Stream Saver. That includes Peacock, Apple TV Plus, and Netflix for just $35 a month. Switch at Xfinity.com today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay to store bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular internet rates apply. Currently $54 a month. Actual speeds vary. Stream Saver requires Xfinity internet or TV and price subject to change.
Hey, thrill-seeking movie fans. It's time to get your tickets to see Alien Romulus, the IMAX experience, at the Esquire IMAX Theater in downtown Sacramento.
Whatever comes, we'll face it together.
Let's go. Experience the most terrifying life form in the universe on the largest screen in Sacramento. Don't miss opening weekend of Alien Romulus in front of the Esquire IMAX 6-story screen. Grab your tickets early at IMAX.com/Sacramento and reserve your seats today.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
When you were young, all you wanted in the summer was an ice cream truck to roll by. Now, you just can't wait for the Harbor Freight parking lot sale to roll around. And it'll be here this weekend. Maybe you're looking to fill up that tool chest. Maybe you're looking for a tool chest to fill up. You'll save money either way. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight. Valid until August 18th, 2024. While supplies last. Limitations apply.
Maida Chevy saves you $12,000 off MSRP on every new half-ton Silverado LT Turbo Max. In stock after rebates. Always 5 to choose from.
Labor Day savings on now at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details. That is by 324.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text 916-339-1140.
Will they play this song, Stiles and Watkins, headed towards the 12 o'clock hour? Yeah, so we're going to have to talk with Carmichael Dave and Scott Moak and see, hey, guys, let's come up with a game plan.
Yeah.
What makes the most sense? You know, we have people asking. We have people that are curious. Are you going to stick with Hum Diddly? Are you going to go... are you going to go with We Want the Monk? And really, this is just a conversation, just all ears. I won't, surprisingly, Chris, I won't have much to say.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get everyone's thought process.
Yeah.
If people are blaming Stiles and Watkins.
Nobody is.
Okay.
They better not be.
If somebody is blaming Stiles and Watkins for what went down, then just come to us and let's see if we can figure this thing out.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. He got hurt, like a game after we kind of got it actually implemented.
And he was playing horribly.
He was playing really bad.
But he was playing horribly before.
Yeah.
And then we tried to help.
Yeah.
And it went in the wrong direction.
We, semantics. It's all, we were just trying to help. Exactly. That's the point to make, is that we were just trying to help. Things I'm not saying the Hum Diddly's gotten stale at all, but this is now year 3. He's in a new contract.
New contract.
You got it. New contract, new sound.
New contract,
new sound. You know, DeRozan, we got to figure out how we're going to incorporate Not Like Us into Nothing Like Us, if you will. Maybe we can just play Vivek saying Nothing Like Us. Come on. Yeah, I'm here for it. I think we need to figure it out, but I do think it's the superior sound. It gets you a lot more hyped than the humdiddly.
Right.
Well, it might get you more humped too.
And I would say
also just nobody knows what that
nobody knows what's happening.
Yeah, it's very confusing.
Yeah.
I think we like it, but I think we like it because it's so confusing.
It just doesn't, especially it would depend on, you know, who, if Keegan Murray's, and I know we love the Keegan Murray, but if Keegan Murray's name was Malik Monk and how he played, that would work to me.
Yeah.
But you can't have these crazy dunks.
Yes.
And Malik like, let's go. And in the back you have a humdiddly. Like you can't, it doesn't match.
It doesn't at all.
It
the
doesn't
vibe is
match
not right
at all.
It would be so much better. You just blast. We want the fun. And then, you know, again, you can get the crowd involved as well. Like, it can work. I think bouncing balls will do a lot of good on the Kings video Tron this year. If we can just get that little thing that tells everyone where to follow along for the Domantas Sabonis, and if we get that for We Want the Funk, We Want the Monk, I think we're sitting pretty. I think
this is a big year.
It is. It's a really big year.
It's a big year.
We can't be messing around.
For everyone involved to figure this thing out. Yeah, we'll talk to Dave.
Yeah.
We'll have a sit down and we'll get everyone
where
need, because at one point you know what it was? It wasn't the We Want the Monk.
Mm-hmm.
It was when they did both. Do you remember that? We were at a game.
Yeah, they did.
They did humdiddly, and then at the end they're like,
yeah.
And then he got injured. You can't do, but we got to choose.
Right.
You got to leave one in the rear view.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. And they do need to explain them. I mean, it is kind of crazy that even with the Dave, you know, the Domantas Sabonis, it took way longer. And I still will say it hasn't fully caught on. And it's a new season, so something tells me a lot of people probably are going to forget about it.
Yeah.
I think we just got to figure out how we can get an explainer out there. You know, I was part of the my high school's like cheer section thing. And like you gotta make videos, you know, you gotta put it out on socials and say, hey, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
This has to, like, just so you know and are aware, this is the call, this is the response. Even with something as simple as Keegan Murray, you know, I think it all helps.
Well, you know what? Now that you bring that up, I was literally thinking when I did the Sacramento Republic FC match.
Ooh, some inside baseball.
Well, they had at the beginning. You tell them it was either
Gurr,
myself.
I think has one too, doesn't he? Where
it's
one
either,
of the players has one where
they do, and they don't explain those, but how they
that's
say
in
it,
the intro itself. Right.
When you say the first name, they say the last name.
Yeah.
You explain that it was either me or Jose, but one of us, the PA announcer or host, you explain that to everyone who's new and says, you yell the last name. So everybody knows what they're doing.
Yes.
Yeah. And Connor Sutton writes the whole thing out. And then, you know, I just said it, right? Or I did it. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
You need to just add that to the beginning. There's enough time.
There's
Slamson we can take a little bit less slams and stilts can get pushed to the next timeout, to the first timeout, in order to let everyone know this is what we do.
Yeah. It would be very helpful. I think it would be very, very helpful. And it's all just in the name of making the crowd even more explosive. Like if everybody is pulling on the same string as those things are going on, we are going to undoubtedly be, without question, the best fan base in the NBA, which we already are, but it will be like an actual experience, and it'll be close to what they have in like European, even soccer in general. I mean, clearly, like you said, I mean, even at the Sac Republic level, there is still a lot of crowd interaction going on. And I can't think of another NBA team that has even close to the level that the Kings have right now, but we can really send it over the top and make it into a thing. Because it feels like, you know, if you watch the games, even on TV, if you have League Pass, you'll hear the Keegan Murray thing, but it's not a thing. It's not just something that everybody universally knows. Oh, yeah, in Sacramento, they do a lot of different versions of it. They have something for every player. And, I think it would be awesome if we could get that actually being like part of our PR almost.
All right, Chris, you have this right here, the NBA 3-on-3 tournament, and how would the Kings fare in the West? Oh, my goodness. I'm not going to sound like a homer on this one.
This is more just a fun exercise.
Yeah.
NBA Retweet put this out on Twitter earlier today, and I just thought it'd be a fun exercise to do. They said if the NBA had a 3-on-3 tournament, not a 3x3, a 3-on-3 tournament, where each team put forward a 4-man squad, 3 starters, and a bench player, who would win? I took the 3 starters and a bench player, not literally, not as 3 starting players and then a bench player, just who are essentially your 4 best players. And we're going to NBA Jam style it essentially, but with a 3-on-3. Let's just first do the in division, because we're no point in wasting time doing the entire league if they're not even going to be one of the best teams in their division. So let's just go man to man, and we can also debate on who we think is the best 4-man squad. For the Kings, I felt like it was easy. Fox, Sabonis, DeRozan, Monk. Maybe you could throw Keegan Murray in there if you wanted to. That to me feels like the best 4 for the Kings to send out. In the most lethal, you also have some versatility with switching Monk out for Fox or switching DeRozan out for Monk, all of it, whatever. We don't need to get into the semantics of it all. For the Pacific Division, Kings, so you have that foursome again, Fox, Sabonis, DeRozan, Monk. We'll start with the easy one, I guess. I think they are better, Fox, Sabonis, DeRozan, Monk, than a Kawhi, Harden, Zubac, Norm Powell.
Yes.
Obviously, Kawhi, Harden, that's some heavy hitters, but I think the back end loses it a lot where the Kings don't have much fall off. Just for the sake of argument, no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. They're better than the 3-on-3 Clippers.
Yes. This one is just interesting in terms of I couldn't figure out who the 3/4 actually is. Let's do the Warriors.
Okay.
Steph, Draymond obviously have to be involved. Do they want Andrew Wiggins involved? I have Wiggins in there as the 3rd. Wasn't sure.
In theory, on paper, yes, but in reality, no.
And then it brings the question of the summer: Kuminga or Pods?
Yeah.
Which one is are they putting in their 4? Again, you can hyperanalyze like I would.
Did you see that Kuminga video yesterday?
Yes, I did. You mean him splitting his best friends and then dunking on 3rd best friend?
He's on a mission.
He's back. It's going to be filthy this year.
Hey, scary
because
hours.
Dunking was the problem that there was the concern I had with Jonathan Kuminga, not his jump shot or anything else that has to do with
the league
his
is
game.
in shambles.
But just him splitting his friends and then dunking on another one. That was crazy. League is cooked.
Yeah, they're not doing anything.
They're not doing anything.
They're not doing
exactly. Let's do the Lakers. Why not? Again, I kind of struggled to find the 4th person here. LeBron, AD, obviously. Austin Reeves, I guess, is still their 3rd best player.
Yeah.
Is it D'Angelo Russell as their 4th? Is it like
Hachimura?
Rui? Are they going Max Christie, the best kept secret in the league?
Or Hachimura. But honestly, I think based on this 3 is beating the Kings.
They might. I mean, LeBron and AD, that's just a tough combo in general. And I mean, just that twosome really does. And, the Lakers, they obviously do kind of trail off at the end. But yeah, we can give it to the Lakers in that one. And then that brings the Phoenix Suns, who do have an actual big 3, Durant, Booker, Beal. And then I couldn't figure out Nurkic or Grayson Allen. I figured Nurkic just because of the size. But I don't. Based off of how they played last year, I don't love it, but based off of how they played in the Olympics with Durant and Booker, you would think that just those 2 is enough power. So we have the Kings as the 3rd best. Some other notable teams, and we can just kind of flow through these if you want. I put these would probably, and there are a good bit of them, the most intriguing other 4-man squads. Wolves, you have Ant, Cat, Gobert, and Jaden McDaniels. I think I thought about putting Rob Dillingham in there. I think that's a really good squad. Celtics, obviously, Tatum, Brown, Porzingis, Drew Holiday. That's a really tough one. OKC, actually, I think was a bit disappointing. Shea, Jalen Williams, Chet, and Dort.
No,
I kind of don't feel like that makes it very far.
Is Jalen Williams is just not. For 3-on-3, no.
This is not it. Yeah, Nuggets have a pretty good one, even though they've taken a step back. But Jokic, Murray, Porter, and Eric Gordon, that's going to be a really tough 4 to take out. I could not find a 4th for the Dallas Mavericks. I have Luka, Kyrie, Clay.
PJ.
I guess, PJ Washington, I guess, could be their 4. So there you go. PJ Washington. I guess it could also be Derek Lively as well.
That could be lethal.
It could be. It could be. Again, you can if you got Derek Lively in there, I think I like their chances a lot better than if they have PJ. But I definitely understand having PJ and just going versatile. Pelicans, we know that that's a brutal squad. Honestly, looking at it, when I wrote this one down, this was the one where I was like, this team might win it all. They definitely could if they have if this 4-on-4 hypothetical tournament were to happen. Pelicans have Zion. Now they have DeJounte Murray. Obviously, they never moved off of Brandon Ingram, so they still have Brandon Ingram, and they have CJ McCollum. I think that's pretty deadly. Zion, DeJounte, B.I., and CJ. That's a nice one. The Bucks have their 4 that they've been running out. Giannis, Dame, Middleton, Lopez. Sixers with Paul George now have a pretty good one. I couldn't figure out their 4th, though. Tyrese,
they're winning it.
Paul George, Embiid. I put Kelly Oubre. I wasn't sure if they want to put Eric Gordon out there, but whoever it is, they're probably not playing at all.
Yeah.
Knicks now have a really, really good one. Brunson, Bridges, Randall, OG. They obviously are leaving out Hart and DiVincenzo. Cavs, I didn't love, but I think they have a respectable 4. Mitchell, Garland, Allen, and Mobley. And the Pacers, I put in there because I feel like people would say I was a hater if I didn't, but I honestly think this 4 is doing nothing. Halliburton, Siakam, Turner, and Ben Mathurin. Seems like a first-round exit to me.
Yeah.
I would love to see a tournament of this kind.
Yeah, I would love
They're
to
obviously not going to ever do it.
I would love to see this. Yeah, I don't know how it's more about how they translate to a 3-on-3 game. I don't really know how Halliburton's game translates to a
probably
3-on-3
not great.
game. Well, that's the same way the 5-3-0 is saying Sabonis owns AD so far. Not so sure the Lakers 4 better than the Kings 4. In a 3-on-3 matchup, I think that is more so fitting for AD to do his thing on a clearly.
I would think so, yeah.
On a 5-on-5 matchup, it's been Sabonis.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think the Kings' 4 individual talents are better than the Lakers, but I think, like you're saying, if we were to actually roll the balls out, kind of seems tough in
Who's
a 3-on-3
guarding LeBron?
setting. Nobody.
In a 3-on-3 setting.
The Kings are having DeMar DeRozan guard him, which is honestly a pretty big picture question that maybe we can talk about at some point, because there is going to have to be somebody who guards the Paul Georges, KDs, LeBrons.
Who do you think
Kawhis.
is going to be to start the season?
I think it's going to be Keegan. I think that has to be the next step in his development, is kind of figuring out how to guard those guys. But honestly, I would think I know I just said I think it's going to be Keegan, but DeRozan probably makes the most sense. I mean, he's a little bit stronger of a guy. He's played 4 in the past. He probably can't keep up with a lot of perimeter players these days. That might be the direction to go, is just kind of out physical them with a guy like DeRozan, where I'm not sure. I mean, we'll have to see how Keegan looks when training camp kicks off. But unless Keegan's gotten a lot more muscular and some actual like physical strength is there to kind of back it up, I just don't know if he's got the mentality and the physicality to kind of match up with a guy like LeBron. LeBron's a bit of a freak, obviously, but
yeah, we'll get into this at some point. But last week on the morning show, a lot of people were asking, why aren't we talking about Keegan at the 4 more? And I guess the argument of, well, DeRozan's played the 4 could also be switched out with, well, Keegan is a young guy, right? And again, the same thing about Kevin Huerter trying to figure out who you're going to be in this league. Are you willing to sacrifice a couple games to figure out if Keegan can play the 4 on this lineup? Because this is what you're dealing with now. Yeah. I mean, it's hard for me to think that, no disrespect whatsoever to Harrison Barnes, who will be making his return at some point next season.
I think Sean Cunningham put that.
Yeah, he did. It's hard for me to think that Keegan is going to be worse guarding the 4 than Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, that would be very tough to imagine. I will say, though, Harrison does have the physicality matchup, advantage over a guy like Keegan, which, again, is really my main concern. We saw Keegan be able to keep up really well with guards last year. It's just the physicality that's my big concern, not just defensively, offensively as well, but it really will present itself on the defensive end if guys just plow through him and aren't afraid. Like, if he's essentially I think Patrick Beverley is coined, if he's a cone out there, I just don't know how much, obviously, that's going to help the Kings defense.
Coming up next, which NBA coach has the hottest seat? It can't be Mike Brown, can it? We'll discuss. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Jerry and Kenny here. When you call Bell Brothers for an AC tune-up, repair, or replacement, let me tell you what you can expect. Clean.
Our technicians will show up in a company truck that's clean inside and out. They'll be wearing a clean uniform and ring your doorbell with clean hands.
The technician will be clean cut, background checked, drug tested, and trustworthy to enter your home. They'll put on clean shoe covers and put down drop cloths in all work areas. That's right, to make sure your home stays clean.
And when the work is complete, they'll tidy up and leave the work area cleaner than they found it.
Call us neat freaks. Call us spick and span. Call us tidy, pristine, and immaculate.
But whatever you do, call Bell Brothers for an AC tune-up and repairs, because with us, you can count on it being clean. Call us at 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Everyone loves to be outside, and so do mosquitoes. Protect yourself against mosquitoes and West Nile virus by following these simple tips. At least once a week, look around your yard and drain stagnant water from any containers where mosquitoes can breed. Remember to use an effective mosquito repellent, especially at dawn and dusk when mosquitoes are most active. Close all doors and be sure screens are in good working condition. At the Mosquito and Vector Control District, we're here to help. Visit us at fightthebite.net.
I would end the day with sore feet, sore legs. The drugstore inserts that I was purchasing were really not very useful at all. I walked into the Good Feet store and the guy kind of grinned at me and said, I hear that a lot. I was living with chronic pain before going to the Good Feet store. Now I don't really have that problem. I'm able to do the things that I expect to be able to do, even at my advanced age. I feel pretty good about what's going on.
Come to the Good Feet store now for a free fitting and test walk.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. And Chad, I got to admit, there is a buzz going on around the dealership.
That's because we have huge savings up to $14,000 off MSRP on hard-to-find new 2024 Ram heavy duties. And with over 400 new Ram trucks available, there's no other way to describe it except Hoblet's Ramapalooza.
Okay, well, what's this brand new Hoblet certified pre-owned super center I keep hearing about?
We are super excited to celebrate the grand opening of the Hoblet Certified Pre-Owned Super Center. We have over 200 used cars available and over 80 under 20,000. Whatever type of car you need, Hoblet can help.
You've got to see the new Hoblet Certified Pre-Owned Super Center for yourself. Check out their full inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
14,000 total net savings on select new 2024 Ram 2500 Laramies after 8,000 Hoblet dealer discount and 6,000 factory rebates. Rebates may include 3,000 in Hoblet Select coupons. Hoblet trade-in assistance up to $2,000. Rebate for eligible trade-ins. All coupons available while supplies last. 5 of this net savings. See dealer for details.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
Sacktown Sports.
Live and local. Live and local. This is Sacktown Sports.
Hot potato when that seat is hot, Stiles and Watkins. And who has the hottest hot seat for the NBA going into this season? That's the thing. You can get as many extensions as you want, Chris. This money, it ain't no thing to these organizations. If they want you out, I mean, who was it? I mean, some of these guys are getting paid by two teams.
Oh yeah, still
right. Just from okay, we'll hire you, we'll fire you, and it will continue. So anything is Frank Vogel. He's getting paid from at least.
I think Quinn Snyder, who's on this list, is still getting paid. I think from Utah, right?
He definitely could be. I'm not super familiar with what his contract was in Utah.
Well, and if he's not, they just finished payments.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a point where the Kings were paying, I think, 3 coaches at once. It might have even been 4. It was 3. They fired Mike Malone. They then brought in Ty Corbin as the interim coach. Then they, for some reason, decided to remove the interim title from Ty Corbin, thus having to pay him. And then by the end of the season, had hired George Karl, and we're paying 3 coaches at once. And there's been a couple different times where the Kings have had to pay Dave Yeager on the way out and Luke Walton on the way in, and then Luke Walton on the way out. And I don't believe they ended up giving Alvin Gentry a boost, but I believe they then had to pay Mike Brown and Luke Walton as well. And it's been something that Vivek is actively trying to avoid. Yeah, these owners, they treat, which is why I think he was, okay, are we going to extend or not? Because if I extend you, I plan on keeping you that time because I'm not trying to double pay. Yeah. Just like when your lease is almost up, Chris, and you want to go somewhere else and you try to time it so that you don't have to pay two rents at the same time. Some of these owners, they treat these coaching jobs like cell phones. Yeah. Right. When you're still paying for your old cell phone, but it breaks or whatever it is. So you got to buy a new one, but you're still paying off the original one. That's how they treat it. That's how they treat it. Okay. Who's on the hot seat, Chris? On the NBA hot seat so far, this is from Bleacher Report. The hottest seats in the NBA this season. You have one. This is interesting. Taylor Jenkins of the Memphis Grizzlies is listed here. What? Billy Donovan of the Chicago Bulls is listed. Okay. That makes sense to me. Willie Green of the New Orleans Pelicans. That doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe that's a little bit of a Sacramento bias. Obviously, we think they're doing perfectly fine, but maybe the argument there is just they haven't done enough with their talent. This is one that I'm very big on. Chauncey Billups. What has Chauncey Billups done in his entire Portland Trailblazers tenure that has warranted the amount of job security he has? And then, yes, as Nate said, Quinn Snyder is also on this list, as is one Glenn Doc Rivers, which is very interesting because obviously Doc just got there halfway through last year. The Quinn Snyder thing to me, I mean, the Hawks are a mess. Why don't they just come to an agreement? I mean, again, I don't feel like Quinn Snyder's fault to me. No, it's not. So you still have Trae Young. You don't really want Trae Young. They were supposed to have what happened to the Hawks fire sale besides Jalen Johnson? They haven't moved anyone besides DeJounte Murray. Yeah, I guess just nobody wanted him. I mean, I know, some people were really high on AJ Griffin. I was trying to think of they had AJ Griffin and DeAndre Hunter were the two pieces that I would have expected them to move on. Clint Capella has been in trade rumors for a couple years. I think that their problem is just kind of something I feared for the Kings, but they had a bit of the Blazers problem where they flew too close to the sun, and I think they definitely got burned for it. They had that season where they made the Eastern Conference Finals, and they kind of thought, okay, maybe we're on to something here, and they paid all of their young guys that they had, and it turns out all of them kind of ended up stagnating and never really improving to a level that took them to another level. And so they're just kind of in the middle, and especially in the Eastern Conference, that's where they're going to stay as long as they have the talent that they do, because they're not a team that has a lack of talent. They just have not been able to put it together, and it is a bit clunky of a fit with Trae and DeJounte. Maybe it'll make more sense now, but that team has just been built really, really strangely. It just hasn't really made sense. Like the pieces, they've gotten good players. Like I think a lot of people would like AJ Griffin. They liked him coming out of Duke. I think a lot of people really like DeAndre Hunter. He's supposed to be your 3-and-D kind of guy. I think a lot of people like Onyeka Okongwu. I just, for whatever reason, that team does not fit together because I don't think they really know what they're building around. They obviously were trying to build around Trae Young for the first couple years. I think they saw that had a limit because of Trae's defensive limitations. They tried to bring in DeJounte, and that just never worked. So I think they're kind of in a crossroads right now, and it'll be interesting to see which way they go. But I do not think firing Quinn Snyder is the right move for them. I think Quinn is honestly one of the best 10 coaches in the NBA. I would not let him go. Yeah, I mean, you can fire him. I just don't think it's going to make a difference. Yeah. I mean, you could fire him or keep him. You're going to stink this season. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can stink with the person that you've already paid or plan on paying, or you can pay Quinn Snyder and bring in somebody else and pay two people and stink. That's what we're talking about. Yeah. And if you're not going, the only reason I would see getting rid of Quinn Snyder is if you're blowing it all up and you want to start fresh with Jordy Fernandez type deal, right? In Brooklyn. But if you're going to keep the same type of guys and really just have a different version of that team, and whoever you got back
for DeJounte Murray, then I don't see why, again, you just want to treat it like a cell phone and get the iPhone 24 when, you still have the 23 and you didn't break it, right? Even though you might know you're going to get the 24 soon, just wait. Just wait and see what happens.
Sure.
Just wait and see what happens. Maybe there's a surprise. Did you see Trae Young all over the podcast P? And he was opening up about, we have something later about him, whether or not he stole his celebration from a footballer.
I did see that. I saw a graphic on that.
But yeah, he was talking about how it didn't work out with DeJounte Murray, but and how they hoped it would. But again, you tried to make a guard, your two best players can't be. We've had this conversation. Your two best players couldn't be guards. The only time that has worked within the last decade was with the two best shooters of all time, two of the best shooters of all time, one of them being the best shooter of all time in Splash Brothers. We saw this. We saw the ceiling hit. Let's go through them, Chris. We saw the ceiling hit in Portland. We saw the ceiling hit with CJ McCollum and Dame Lillard. We saw the ceiling hit in Houston. And maybe somebody would argue, well, if it wasn't for the Warriors, Houston actually would have got it done with Chris
Dallas.
Paul. With Dallas right now.
Yeah.
And that's a hybrid one because Luka's big as heck. I don't even know are you counting that, Chris, as a two-guard led team?
I guess. I mean, yeah, Luka pretty much plays point guard. I mean, for the most part, and Kyrie, yeah, I guess so. It's kind of pushing the line of it, but I think if there's ever is a time that guards can work out, it's probably in today's NBA. I mean, I know we're obviously focusing or shifting more towards the Wembys and the Jokic and Embiids of the world winning MVPs and having high level of impact. But I think that if there ever was a time that two guards were going to be able to take you to pretty far, it would be now. But no, I still think that the three is the most important position to have somebody dominant in. And, I think it is always going to be. The problem is if you have two guards, you have to build out your team in a very, very specific way, because if your two best players are guards, probably nobody else is touching the ball.
Well, yeah, and it's interesting you say that because I feel like the days of the two guards taking over, I just feel like those days are gone. And maybe it's a matter of who those guards are, because we're looking again right now at your boys in Cleveland, Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland.
Sure.
And I would put them in the category of they're the two best dudes players on their team, and they're not scaring anybody. So I do feel like maybe it's just a matter
depends
of
what you think success is.
Well, yeah,
I mean, if we're talking
true.
about winning a title, then yeah. But
the Blazers,
there's been a lot of teams that have made good runs.
Dame and CJ, would you call that run successful?
Yeah, for sure.
I think I would.
Definitely.
I think I would.
It's not what they wanted, but in the grand scheme of things, it's successful for sure.
I think the DeJounte Murray, Trae Young thing they weren't even good.
Even close. Yeah,
they weren't even. It's not about whether you won a championship. You didn't even have Quavo, and Quavo wouldn't even go to the games.
Yeah, it's just
you wanted to fly away.
Guys, yeah, exactly.
I had to.
It's just that those two guards have to actually be able to play off of each other, and I don't know. I think the thought with Trae and DeJounte is just kind of, hey, where Trae lacks, DeJounte does kind of excel, but they don't play off of each other well at all, and it never really worked out. You do have to make sure that it is the right two guards that do complement each other still, like Malik and De'Aaron do, not necessarily to that high end of a level, but Malik and De'Aaron, you can play off of them, and we'll see how De'Aaron and DeRozan play off of each other as well. But I think that's really the key. If you are going to have two guards, they have to both know how to play off of each other and have to be additive instead of, oh, he kind of takes this away from me, and so I have to try and figure out how to play around it. I think that's the really toughest part is a lot of the times you see, like an elite guard next to a Keon Ellis or something like that. And I think that's what we say over here is it makes it a little bit cleaner. So it is tough to build with guards, but I wouldn't say it's impossible.
Yeah. And I think that another thing, and I would have to look up how much Trae and DeJounte actually played together. I mean, Trae was injured for a good bit, and it was DeJounte by himself. So maybe they don't feel like they got to give it the full effort, but it is what it is. Coming up next, we take a break from the basketball to talk about the GOAT, or some people's GOAT, Tom Brady. Is he faking his happiness? What's going on here? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Keegan Murray plays here.
Keegan scores another three-pointer. Keegan Murray knocking it down for 23 points. Next, De'Aaron Fox for game scoring honors.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Want to keep your gas-powered engines running like new? Stable's proprietary formulas are proven by third-party testing to outperform the competition in keeping fuel fresh, preventing corrosion, and cleaning the entire fuel system. With Stable, you can have confidence you are doing the right thing for your engine's long-term health. Just pour into your gas can or fuel tank, then top off with fresh fuel. At every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable. Available where fuel additives are sold.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery on select smart beds when you add any base. Limited time. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Goof dealers.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
From the 279, they say Steve Kerr with the hottest seat this year. Can you really have a hot seat if you just don't really care that much? Like, could Popovich ever be on the hot seat? Steve Kerr, if Steve Kerr, and would he just get an extension this past season?
I believe so.
Steve Kerr, but even if it goes south for the Warriors, I think Steve Kerr would just say, "Yeah, you can fire me if you want." I mean, it's not a hot seat if you're still trying to build. You're not trying to build your. What Steve Kerr has nothing else to prove.
I mean, it could still be a hot seat. I think the hot seat just implies that your job is on the line. I just think the problem is it's not. I can't imagine that situation with everything Steve Kerr's done for them. That's going to be a mutual split. There's no way the Warriors could ever justify firing him, no matter how loud the Warriors audience can be sometimes. He's just done way too much, and it would look like it would just be a really bad look, honestly, if they let go a guy like Steve Kerr who's had the success he's had, regardless of how people feel.
We're talking, and that's not this coming season. It would be Steph went on to play with LeBron in Charlotte or Cleveland, and which might not be.
There's also, to that point, there's no way Steph lets that happen.
Right.
If Steve Kerr's gone, you might as well wish Steph gone too.
So I guess we're both agreeing that we don't think Steve Kerr is on the hot seat.
I don't think so. And that's a different conversation than should he be. But yes, no, I don't. I would say that he is not on the hot seat from the Warriors front office. I wouldn't think so.
Well, when you leave your job and retire, quote unquote, you can't be on the hot seat. And that's what's going on with Tom Brady. But, Chris, it's getting to the point now where I don't know how much I'm believing Tom Brady. So he says in one of his vlogs that he's been training because he still may want to come out of retirement. He talks about the young players in the league. They still got something to deal with. This is a video of him just looking like he's having the time of his life. He's on a boat. He's throwing a football to people on jet skis. He's jumping off a cliff. I think he's talking. I think he's with his kids at one point, but it's mostly he doesn't have his shirt on at all. And this is him just vlogging, doing his Tom Brady thing.
So you're just flexing for social media these days. I just want to make sure all those young bucks in the NFL know that if I still wanted to come out of retirement,
all the way out, go way out, way out.
They still got something to deal with.
So that's Tom Brady in a quick little clip of his blog, I guess, to make you go watch the full thing. And there's one thing, Chris, we know. And did you see? Was it Cam, or was it? I don't think it was Jordan Love, but Caleb Williams. Did you see that? May or may not be on the TB12 diet. I think that came out last week, and I really have no clue what that even means. He can eat now, but I mean, Tom Brady, he's got
avocados. I know that
avocado. Yeah, he's on the TB12 diet. This was 2 days ago. Caleb Williams, but Tom Brady, I'm assuming he's still on the diet if he's still training. Yesterday, there was the report that Giselle was trying to get half of what Tom Brady owns, and Tom Brady was very slick to put it under his mother's name. Again, who knows the validity in these reports, but it's to the point now where Tom Brady, he's just pretending to be. I was going to say he's pretending to be happy. He's not even really pretending. I mean, it's very clear that he wants to still be playing.
I thought you were going to say that he just is happy.
I don't know that he is.
You don't think he's happy?
I mean, Chris, he talks about, and it's not just, he's not even doing his analyst thing yet.
Yeah, no, he's not, which is interesting.
I'll believe that he's happy when he stops talking about returning. Why does he have to keep talking about returning? We're going on what year?
It's what they do.
That just, to me, if you keep talking about, if you got a new job.
Yeah.
Okay. And you kept talking about your old job.
Yeah, for sure.
Wouldn't you start to think, or if you are an outside perspective, wouldn't the outside perspective start to think, man, maybe he regrets leaving his old job, right?
Yeah, but what if your old job was being an astronaut? It's like, well, yeah, I can imagine why he keeps talking about, well, yeah, it's really awesome. You know, when you're in space,
no, Chris, but
it's pretty cool.
He's not talking about his Super Bowls. He's talking about, I got to keep these young bucks. I'm still training. Are you still training to be an astronaut? This person that you're talking about?
Maybe, maybe he likes to go in the hyperbaric chamber and everything and just, feel what zero gravity feels like a couple times.
Just let it go, Tom.
Just for the feeling. I would love it if he look, I had to deal with Brett Favre and his will he retire, won't he retire for years on years on years. I get that it's very, very annoying, but this is what these guys do. I mean, all athletes. LeBron's still playing and he's 40 whatever years old. Tom played until he was 45. Like, I think these guys just have a hard time walking away from the game.
Yeah.
I think he's enjoying his free time because I'm sure it was miserable to be on. I'm reading this TB12 diet. He cannot eat, Caleb Williams now, no dairy products, bacon, sausage, trans fats. What is this? Hydrogenated oils, alcoholic beverages, deli meats, red meats should be avoided. He can't eat bread, pasta, cereal, no beers, no wine, milk, cheese, yogurt, ice cream. That sounds like I would love to be retired and be done with that as soon as possible. He's out here throwing throwing footballs off a yacht. He's living life. He gets to criticize people without actually going out there.
Look how much fun I'm having. Everyone, look how much fun No, if you're really having fun, that's what I'm saying. Look how much fun I'm having, everyone. I could come back if I want to, but I don't.
You better buckle up for the Aaron Rodgers retirement tour. Because if you think this is bad, that man Aaron Rodgers is not going to let us forget that he is still capable of dominating the NFL.
I think Tom might be worse. Look at Peyton Manning. He just we got to deal with Peyton in a different way.
Peyton couldn't play anymore. Peyton could not look over his shoulder after a certain point. Tom is 45 years old and legitimately has a claim. I mean, the dude retired and I believe was second or third in the NFL in pass yards. So, it wouldn't surprise me if he just thinks, like he says, it feels like 2 summers in a row now, he has said, yeah, quarterbacks really aren't as good as what you would back in my day. We don't have the Drew Brees. Who's even the Ben Roethlisberger? I just think he thinks he's better than them still. I don't think that that's necessarily him saying he's not enjoying retirement. I think he's just saying, y'all are lucky because I probably wouldn't be the best, but I could still be a top 10. I could make Chris Allen and Nate's top 10 quarterback, even Nate's top 10 quarterback.
Well, you're not making Nate's. It's a very distinct list. Tom, Guardian cap or not, strap up. Strap up, get out there. 916 from Esteban. Allen, was it easy for you to let baseball go? No, I think about it every day.
Do you really? Not to get not to get emotional about it.
It gets worse at certain times of the year. When college baseball starts, it's rough.
Yeah,
it's rough.
Because you're just like,
because I can still get out there.
Yeah, exactly.
I got a buddy out there. He's in an adult baseball league.
You'll do it one day. One day.
I'm getting closer. I'm getting closer.
I can feel it. Once you have no worries about the Achilles, it's a wrap.
You want to hear the Squidward meme that really happened? So we both live next to each other, and he doesn't even know this, but I was just doing my thing, and I look out the window, and he was in full uniform.
Just doing dishes.
Going to his game. I was just, cleaning up baby Stiles, just trash on the ground.
That can be me.
I don't know. I just post on Instagram. Look how much fun I'm having.
Look at this cute thing my daughter did.
She likes ice cream. Look at this picture of her eating ice cream. Yeah, there you go. Coming up next, Oh boy, oh boy. Two of the names that we have gone back and forth on this offseason. Who is more valuable? Then at 12:45, ladies and gentlemen, 12:45. That is quite the time frame when we talk about one of the most polarizing athletes of all time. What happens if this player, his first time returning to football, is on the Olympic stage? That's at 12:45. But first, we talk about two players and what their values are in the NBA, whether it's for the Kings or for anybody. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys, live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus, view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
You might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Ooma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
It's a myth to think you don't play golf well enough to get fitted for golf clubs. The professionals at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio would argue that playing the game with golf clubs properly fitted to your body and swing characteristics is the best way to improve your game and have more fun on the golf course. With a professional staff of fitters, all the major brands of equipment, and cutting-edge technology featuring TrackMan, the indoor-outdoor Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio is worth a look. See for yourself, Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway. Schedule your fitting at 916-808-2531, 808-2531.
Hey, this is Greg Papa. Are you working through a major insurance claim? SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to, not what just some adjuster working for an insurance company thinks you should get. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
The PGA club fitters at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio know that golf should be fun. They also know that players of all abilities will hit the ball farther and straighter, play better golf, shoot lower scores, and have more fun if they get fitted before they purchase golf clubs. Hagen Oaks delivers the same technology and major brands used to fit PGA and LPGA professionals. See how the game can be even more fun. Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
Keep your family cool and comfortable this summer with Bell Brothers' best summer ever financing event. When you replace your AC system, we're offering 0 payments, 0 interest for 6 months on approved credit, then low fixed rate thereafter. That's right, 0 payments, 0 interest for 6 months on any new AC system. It's an incredible offer on an incredible new AC system, but only for a limited time. This offer is also available on any plumbing, water heater, or insulation projects over $1,000. So call Call Bell Brothers now. Your family will thank you because they'll be cool and comfortable. But you have to hurry. Our offer for 0 payment, 0 interest for 6 months, then low fixed rate thereafter ends soon. Estimates and second opinions are free. So call now to keep your family cool and comfortable during Bell Brothers' best summer ever event. Our number is 916-444-1234 or find us online at theNoSurpriseGuys.com. That's theNoSurpriseGuys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Two comparisons coming up between two rumored players, not necessarily to the Kings, but to a lot of different teams. And then we get into a very, very interesting conversation at 12:45. But Chris is having a very, very bad day. And Chris, we asked Nate what he was at. He was at a B-. We got to check in on him. He got something to eat, but it wasn't what he had told us. Chris, where are you at right now? I just want to check in on you. If those who don't know, obviously J.J. McCarthy out for the season. That knee issue ended up being pretty darn serious. And now Jordan Addison, another wide receiver for the Vikings, being carted off the field. And we had UPS Chris say, put Brady on the Vikings right now, they would be doing things, especially with those wide receivers. Well, they're possibly down one. Chris, we're just a health check in on you.
Yeah, I'm unwell. I'm not doing great. It's like a D- probably.
At least we get to hang out after the show.
Yeah, there's that. There is that. That's right. That is correct. I will. I will.
Look, man, just know I'm here.
As long as we don't talk about Brandon Aiyuk.
Is that the rule?
That's the rule.
Well, why would you say that? Because you know what's going to happen now.
It's not. It wasn't even an option. It's the problem.
Yeah, it's
going to break. Oh yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, Niner fans. I'm glad that maybe I can have a bad day so that you could potentially have a decent.
Nate, do you have any words for Chris?
I'm sorry, man. Sam Darnold will be fun, maybe. It just sucks to see both of them go down, and you just want to see what you have, you know.
Yeah,
I don't think
I do know. Yeah, no, I definitely know. Yeah, I know. It's it's not great. It's definitely not the most ideal situation ever. Yeah, it's just not great.
Kings will be good.
Yeah, I hope so. They better be.
I'll take it over.
Now they better be. I'll tell you what. Yeah, no, it's been a rough 24 hours for sure for all Minnesotans, and I hope that Anthony Edwards can bring the actual people of Minnesota some joy. But yeah, it's not great when your last 2 first-round draft picks are not available. And we'll still see on the Jordan Addison front. There's reports that he limped off before having to be carted off. So still no official word on how the severity of that injury is. But yeah, it's not great. It's definitely just not great. Not ideal. Unideal.
Well, I do have to just give an update, Chris,
Sure.
And it's not a crazy update, but
they never are.
As far as Brandon Aiyuk, he is at practice today, and this is where we're at, and this is really just going to make Chris want to get up.
What's he wearing, Alan? Tell us what he's wearing.
Now we have Shirtgate, where people are saying he's wearing a red T-shirt and black shorts, and the conversation is whether it's a Niners T-shirt or not. Really?
What, it's just like a burgundy, it looks Ninery.
This is crazy to me. Now,
how many reporters are over there, and none of them can figure out if it's actually official Niner gear?
I saw Niner gear. I saw a red T-shirt.
Okay.
Maybe people don't want to speculate.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous now.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's not a black shirt that has a logo. Maybe it could be a Steelers. You never know. But
yeah, maybe
it's got to be something,
shorts.
right? I mean, it's got to be something that he's showing up to camp.
Yeah. So
for what it's worth, too, in that Little League game we had on, Mexico pitched a no-hitter. 12 strikeout no-hitter.
So Aruba is now staring elimination in the face. Hawaii beating New Hampshire in their opening round. I just don't think anybody's messing with Hawaii.
Yeah, probably not.
Hawaii,
they win all the time, don't they?
Yeah. Hawaii, they take care. It's normally Hawaii.
Yet again, another island where it's just like, how are you guys?
Well, you know
producing
what's
baseball
interesting
talent
about
like
that? And not that it's directly connected, but for Hawaii to be so nasty at Little League, but there's not a ton of Hawaii. I mean, I remember Shane Victorino,
right?
The Flying Hawaiian. So
absolutely, that's about it.
There is Colton Wong. Colton Wong, I believe, is Hawaiian.
That's right.
As well. But yeah, so we'll see if New Hampshire can pick it up. It's normally whoever's wearing that blue and yellow from the West. It's normally Hawaii or the California team.
Mm-hmm.
They're normally they normally get to the championship and then they got to face Japan or
Taiwans and
whoever it is. So we will keep you up to date on all of that. As Chris, I have two players here. We're going to leave the football world for a second. I have two players here, and I'm going to ask you who you think would be more valuable right now. Now, you can do this in your mind for the Kings.
Okay.
You can do this in general, and I'm going to give you the breakdowns, and then later you might know who these guys are.
Okay.
But I'll do it this way. The first player is 35 years old, owed
DeMar DeRozan.
Owed $48.7 million.
My goodness.
With a player option for 2025 at $52 million.
Okay.
The second player is 27 years old.
Okay.
On an expiring deal of $36 million. Now, obviously, you don't know who these players are, but who intrigues you more?
So you've given me their age and their contract.
That's right.
Well, then, yeah, the 27-year-old.
Now I'm going to give you the names.
Okay.
The 27-year-old.
Okay, go ahead.
Who?
Brandon Ingram.
That's right.
And Jimmy Butler.
That is correct.
Okay.
Who's more valuable right now?
Who's more valuable? Jimmy Butler. No question.
Chris.
More valuable? Jimmy Butler. Who's maybe the better.
$52 million.
I just think, but he
52.
impacts championships potential.
No.
That's value to me. Value isn't just about, yes, you can have a value in terms of financial value, but in terms of like trying to win a championship, Jimmy Butler brings more value to a champion than Brandon Ingram. We've just seen it. I mean, Jimmy's led that Heat team to two finals.
Though. He did.
Recently, very recently.
Yeah.
But what did Brandon Ingram do?
And what he's going to do.
Maybe. You're talking about hypothetical versus hard concrete things that have been done.
But that's not the same. That's not even the same Jimmy to me, though.
Why not? He's only a year removed from it.
Barely
He had to play
this season.
Yeah. I mean, so you just think he's cooked. You just think it's completely
cooked.
done.
I don't think he's cooked. I think I wouldn't scoff at it the way you scoffed at it.
Well, I just think it's Jimmy Butler has led two different teams to the NBA championship round, to the finals. He also led a team to the Eastern Conference Finals as well, very recently. And Brandon Ingram has done nothing close to that or has shown any indication that that's where he's heading as he's entering his prime.
Situations matter to me. You don't ever know when Zion's going to play. And Brandon Ingram's had some injury issues too, but you don't know when Zion's going to play. You're the Pelicans. Okay. That's number two. You're fighting with the wing situation. I just feel like I think I'll give you this. Jimmy Butler could be more not drop top range drop, but just drop him in somewhere and let him cook, let him do his thing. But I do feel like if you can get Brandon Ingram in there are a couple situations where I do think I would rather take Brandon, and I'm not high on Jimmy Butler, but I would take Brandon Ingram over Jimmy Butler based on these price tags.
But you also said Brandon Ingram's on an expiring. So Brandon Ingram is about to make Jimmy Butler money. If
I'm not giving him Jimmy Butler money.
That's what he wants. I mean, let's just say it's what he wants, $55 million plus.
Yeah.
If he does get that dollar figure and the dollar figures are equal, does that change your thought process? If all things are created equal, it's just age is the difference.
I mean, I don't want to give him $50 million. If I have to give him 50, if now it turns, so this season goes by and now it's 28-year-old Brandon Ingram at $50 million or 36-year-old Jimmy Butler at $50 million.
Yeah, I think financially, to your point, maybe that Brandon Ingram at 30, whatever, if you plop him on a team right now on that contract, value-wise, yes, you are getting for $20 million fewer dollars, you are getting a player who is probably not $20 million of a gap in terms of skill.
That's what I'm saying.
Gotcha. I get that. But again, it's just as players as in. So yes, again, financially, I would say, yeah, Brandon Ingram is the more valuable player. But if Brandon Ingram's on your team, I don't think that guarantees you anything. I think if Jimmy's on your team, there's at least reason to believe that guarantees if you make the playoffs, you're going to be a really, really tough out, if not make it pretty far.
If he's playing.
I mean, but he only didn't play one last season. Every other season, he has carried his team solo. For the most part, solo on his back.
Coming up,
so he has one injured year at 35.
He's not getting younger.
He's not, but it doesn't mean he's going to get more injured. It doesn't guarantee. DeMar DeRozan, is he just guaranteed to get more? They're the same.
DeMar
age.
DeRozan has a track record of being on the court.
Jimmy Butler does too, is what I'm saying. It's just one season of him being out. And, during the regular season, he definitely takes his days off.
That's what I'm saying.
He's there in the postseason to lead the team. And like you said, Brandon Ingram has his fair share of injury problems as well.
Right. Well, that's the one thing. I'm looking here at the games that Jimmy has played. I know we got to get to the other side. But this is what I'm talking about, Chris. Games. Jimmy, last season, 60. Season before, 64. Season before, 57, then 52, then 58, then 55.
Yeah. He's there in the playoffs, though.
You can pay.
He's there when it counts.
I really wouldn't pay either of them, to be completely honest with you, but that's not the exercise. Coming up next, speaking of exercises, this guy's been working out. This guy's been staying in shape, and he may get his chance in 4 years, if not sooner. Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
Going deep down the sideline for Aiyuk. He's got it, and he's gone. 10, 5, touchdown! San Francisco! Aiyuk is on fire!
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
Labor Day, our annual celebration of workers and their achievements, was first observed in New York, and the first Monday in September became a national holiday in 1894. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Each year we commemorate Labor Day with parades, picnics, and family gatherings. And right now, Naturewood Home Furnishings is celebrating with their exceptional whole store Labor Day sale. Would you like to refresh your living room? Would you like to restyle your bedroom? Maybe you want to redesign your home office. No matter whether it's your dining room, kids' rooms, accents, or accessories, Naturewood's unique store-wide Labor Day sale offers savings in every department and savings on every brand like Stanton, Omnia, England, Stickley, Flex Steel, and all the rest of the award-winning furniture. When it comes right down to it, it's all about choices and always about quality. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings right now for this remarkable Labor Day sale. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for the water wheel.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with a purchase of a phone and activation by September 2nd, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Insurance companies perform a very valuable service, but they want to keep their money. Although most cases settle before trial, it is paramount that the insurance companies know that if pressed, your legal team has the experience to take your case all the way. For 25 years, Ashton & Price has earned the reputation that if the insurance company isn't fair, we're ready to force them to be fair. My mom used to warn me, wait till dad gets home. Think of us as dad. The best part, there's no fee until we win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
At Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda, we make the dream of owning a new car easy and stress-free.
With prices that you just can't say no to. Save on our best selection of the year during the final days of the Honda Summer Event.
Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Number one claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company. Sold on report.
Sacramento, Dirks Bentley's coming to town.
What was I thinking? I'm getting drunk.
Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo for Country in the Park 2. And he's bringing some friends. Farmally, Tyler Rich, Dasha, Kelsey Hart, and more. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo. Get your tickets today before they're sold out at CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by RVs of Sacramento and Public Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram Center.
Dawn or dusk, I'm on the hunt. Skeeter here, Sacramento Yellow Mosquito and Vector Control District, and I'm wearing Skeeter Vision, night vision goggles that light up skeeters at dawn or dusk like the 4th of July. Mosquito, 12 o'clock. Got 'em. So fight the bite by wearing long sleeves and pants at dawn or dusk when they're most active. Apply insect repellent and drain stagnant water. It's a breeding ground.
Dawn or dusk, the Sacramento Yellow Mosquito and Vector Control District reminds you to fight the bite. For more information or to report problems, go to fightthebite.net.
With only 3 homestands left, the Sacramento Rivercats season is nearing the end. Make your plans to head to the ballpark this week while the Rivercats are in town. Join us on Friday, August 16th for the Mount Core 4 statue giveaway as we celebrate the San Francisco Giants bullpen legacy of Jeremy Affeldt, Santiago Casilla, Javier Lopez, and Sergio Romo. Be one of the first 2,500 fans through the gates to secure this item. For a complete promotions calendar and to purchase your tickets, visit rivercats.com.
Sponsored by Xfinity Internet. Enjoy ultimate control of your home network. Personalize your Wi-Fi name and password. Assign user profiles. View and control connected devices and more with the Xfinity Internet app.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
Well, Chris, I had sushi last week.
Oh.
And you know what comes with sushi, among other things?
Soy sauce.
And
sake bomb.
Wasabi.
Wasabi.
See, that's more revealing. I don't like wasabi.
Oh, I love it. I love when it opens up. I got allergies,
Mm-mm.
so
no.
Wasabi Wednesday.
I love it too.
Wow.
Wasabi Wednesday, and it's about to get spicy in here because the name that I'm about to say, it gets the people going in a lot of different ways. So I'm gonna set this up for you, Chris. I don't know this person. If they're listening, they were very active last week, and basically what I did was I asked the question. As everyone knows, breakdancing is taking a break from the Olympics, but flag football will be entering the chat. And Patrick Mahomes has been interested. Jalen Hurts is on the commercial. I'm not really sure why.
Very confusing.
For flag football in 2028. And I asked the question, who's the worst quarterback that the U.S. could send? And we kind of left the NFL for a bit. And a name that came up on the text line that I read, and it gets the people going. A name said Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick. And this was before any of these reports came out.
Yeah.
So Colin Kaepernick was a name that came up. I thought that'd be interesting, especially with everything that happened, for assuming the U.S. wins. For Colin Kaepernick, after all that, Chris, for Colin Kaepernick to win the flag football gold medal and be on
emphasis on flag, right?
Emphasis on flag, to be on the podium at the 2028 Olympics in LA. That I mean, cinema doesn't even do it justice.
Yeah,
Might
need a new Netflix.
That'd be crazy. That would be. I mean,
it would
to
definitely
me,
be crazy.
If I'm Colin, that's the end. That's the end for me. And we have some sound as he's still talking about trying to get into the NFL. This is what I would do. It's not connected to the NFL at all. I'm starting to bid right now if I'm Kaepernick. I really don't understand. I know it's just flag, but I know the Tyreek Hills of the world, a lot of these guys want to play, but there's going to be some owners, there's going to be some guys that can't play, right? That whatever reason, they don't want to risk it, whatever. There's only one, as far as I'm concerned, there's only one U.S. team. So I don't know how they're going to pick between who's going to be our quarterback. So maybe it might end up being, well, it's just not going to be anybody from the NFL. It's different in the NBA. They're starting to catch up. Right. I feel like you could create a collection of former NFL players and still get gold.
Colin, Javed Best in there too?
Shout out Cal. 36 years old, Colin is. So this time in 4 years, he'd be 40 on the nose. Okay, he gets that gold, and it's over. It's over. Am I crazy? And this isn't me. This is Colin kind of bringing it up, and a lot of people have talked about it in different ways, but the report is that he is interested in playing flag football at the 2028 Olympics. I mean, you think Twitter has almost broken because of the election? It would shut down, Chris.
Yeah, it'd be a wrap.
It would shut down.
It would actually be a wrap.
And the texts are coming in already.
Of course.
They're coming in already. We can't even read them.
Yep.
It would be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is definitely crazy. I mean, I'm looking at it here. It's been, I'm actually really surprised. It's been since 2016 that Colin Kaepernick even played in the NFL.
A long time ago.
He was 29 years old, and like you said, he would be 40 at that Olympic game. So it'll be 11 years since he's played competitive football, period. And I mean, and to me, that kind of is where the argument against it starts is, there's guys who have played XFL. There's guys who have played practice squad quarterback. Like, there's just so many other options. And I think I know it would obviously be for a PR thing. And to an extent, obviously he definitely wants to play, or he says he wants to play quarterback in the NFL again. I don't think that's a possibility, to be honest, but I definitely think if this is the route he wants to go, all power to him. I just don't see it actually happening. I just think there is so many different options to go. Why would you go with a guy, whatever, everything aside, why would you go with a guy who hasn't played football in 11 years?
And again, this is 4 years from now.
Yes, exactly. When we talked about names, we said the Nick Foles of the world, the Carson Wentz's,
Johnny Manziel.
There's so many other names. I mean, you can even do college quarterbacks that just don't quite have what it takes to be an NFL quarterback. There's just so many different options.
Get Taj Boyd. Get Taj Boyd out there.
Get Tyrod Taylor out there. Like, for goodness sake, can we get one win?
Braxton Miller.
Why not? Dude, Terrell Pryor. I don't care. Just
please, Terrell. I'd get that jersey.
I mean,
then I would sell it for tattoos.
It's legal now. You would actually be totally fine these days.
I wonder if he got his Big Ten stuff back.
Probably not. But justice for Reggie Bush. I'm glad we got that.
That's right.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's obviously an entertaining thing to talk about for sure. Colin, like you said, I mean, it just, you mention his name and the text line starts flowing in, but it just doesn't make sense. I think that there's a lot of different options, and it's not like he has committed himself to playing competitive football. I'm sure he's still working out. I know he hosts some workout every couple of years to show teams that he still got it, but there's just a lot of active quarterbacks that make a lot more sense.
Well, and then you have 4 years from now. So at the same time, how many more quarterbacks will then be out of the league?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm really curious and fascinated at the logistics of all this. The tryouts. I mean, if there's one quarterback in the NFL that is playing, then this is a moot point.
Yeah.
Because there's no way Colin's going to play. If there's Tom Brady, if he really felt
I'm sure
like
he
it,
would love it. Yeah, no contact.
Just add a gold medal.
Why not?
Just add a gold medal. Somebody
great.
saying 95 saying Mike Vick. I mean, I don't see how. I don't see how Colin Kaepernick, if there is enough appetite from these guys. Any of these guys, NFL or recently out of the NFL, or just not 40 years old. I don't see how they pull it off.
Yeah,
and I don't see how he gets chosen. And not to say he's not good enough. I just think the NFL has a plethora, or the USA football has a plethora of picks.
We have all the picks. I don't know.
They have all the picks.
Who
You know what he
isn't an
needs to do?
option.
He needs to look up if, based on his background, if he could play for another country.
Honestly, that's the route that he can make.
Go Klay Thompson, Bahamas.
There's just no way. I mean, it's frankly kind of. I won't say it's not worth talking about, but it's not worth thinking about really, because it's just not going to happen. I mean, again, this dude hasn't even. It does reach into a larger conversation about Colin's football career anyway. But the dude's last 2 seasons, I'm looking at his Football Reference, a combined 3-16 in his final 2 years as a quarterback. So it's not even like we're talking about a Tom Brady, where we're talking about somebody who was at the top of his game and then stopped playing for whatever reason and could come back for the Olympics. We're talking about somebody who, frankly, by the time he was done as a quarterback, and that was a long time ago. I don't see why we would think that he's gotten better since without, again, playing competitive football in 11 years.
And we have no clue what this is going to look like. My hot take on this whole flag football thing, Chris, is that it's going to be the breakdancing. And there was some good moments in the breakdancing, but it will be the breakdancing of this Olympics, meaning that, I got to do the math here, in 2032, there will not be flag football. That's my hot take.
Yeah, I don't see why there would be.
I think it's going to be a disaster.
It's probably going to be a complete disaster. Either that or it's going to be I guess I will say definitely I am wrong right now, and it is going to be a bunch of washed football players that, we just send them out because, how are we supposed to send our NFL guys if, could you imagine if these last 2-3 weeks have been, instead of at camp, you're in the Olympics? I can't imagine a lot of NFL coaches would be happy with that, especially for a flag football thing. So maybe there is a chance that it is just a bunch of old retired players or whatever, players who don't play anymore, and nobody cares. But even then, that leads me to probably not going to see it in 32.
279, Derek Carr, best flag football QB because in a pocket Carr is slinging it. Stop it. You're trolling.
Definitely.
Hashtag not my quarterback.
Definitely.
He is not representing the U.S. at all.
Why don't we do Jimmy G while we're at it?
Someone said Jimmy G on the side. That's a tough one. Who's got a
no? How about no?
Jimmy G,
because Jimmy G just straight
or Carr. No, Carr.
I'm taking Cap over.
I'm
Jimmy
taking
G.
Cap over Jimmy G as well. Jimmy G just straight up misses people. Like people will be
So
wide
does
open.
Cap,
and that
but
man,
Cap can
he
move.
does too. But Cap will just throw it through somebody. That man had no finesse whatsoever.
No long balls. No.
Laser.
Just one. He should get into baseball, something like that.
He should. I think he was at one point.
He threw 90 off the bump. I remember that in high school. I think he might have got drafted as well. Also, Jim Harbaugh has offered, allegedly has offered former NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick a coaching position with the team.
Cool.
He's considerate, says Harbaugh. He's considering it. He was out of the country, I believe, in Paris. He said he was going to get back to me. Jim told USA Today. But I don't know. I mean, if you're Kaepernick and he truly in that, he said he still wants to play. He's still working. I don't really see why he would take the coaching job unless he wants to be a coach, which I haven't heard that. All I hear from Colin Kaepernick every time
he wants to play.
Is that he wants to play, but then and I know what was it, the XFL or whatever, he's never played in any of those.
Exactly.
But he wants to play.
A little sketch.
But he wants to play. So we'll see. But I want to know what these tryouts look like. And I just think it could be great content. It's just to have, whether it's he's in there or not, get everybody in there. A bunch of throwback names. You know what I mean?
Somebody's got Jamarcus Russell on the chat.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Letting it fly.
I mean, he
can play O-line
from his knees.
Yeah.
He can throw 80 from his knees. Let's not forget.
Hang out.
Let's not forget. Coming up next, that Terrell Pryor shout was outstanding by you, Chris. Coming up next, what are we doing on a Wednesday? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
Get a handoff to McCaffrey. He walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey. Takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown. CMC.
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sacktown Sports.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sep Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is. Live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sep Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sep's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sacktown Sports 1140.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints up the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Come to the Good Feet store now for a free fitting and test walk.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram and Woodland. What's happening, Chad, for the Make This the Summer sales event?
Save up to $17,000 off MSRP on all remaining 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xEs. And since it's the 4xE, you'll save thousands at the pump too with 56 MPGE.
That's pretty impressive. Any other deals on remaining 2023s?
Right now, save over $11,000 off MSRP on select new 2023 Dodge Charger SXTs. With savings like this, they can't last long.
Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
11,025 net savings on select new 2023 Charger SXTs. Includes $34.45 in factory rebates and $75.80 dealer discount. Sample VIN 683-858. 17,000 total net savings on select new 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xEs after $37.50 Fed EV rebates and $13,250 dealer discounts. Incentives include $37.50 federal EV tax credit. Is offered by a third party and subject to change without notice. Consult a tax professional for details and eligibility. Tenant's net savings. Sample VIN 664-151. See dealer for details.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTK-AM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sacktown Sports.
Sacktown Sports. Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
$115. We will get into a little bit of the Kings schedule. A couple notes coming out. Kings in a tough spot to start and end the season. A lot of away games, so we will get into that in about 15 minutes. 279 Brady last run, make it the 2028 Olympics, get a gold, and solidify the GOAT convo. Well, if you didn't think Brady was already the GOAT, I don't think a flag football gold medal is going to convince you there. They're saying then Mahomes could never become, well, Mahomes will never get one because I truly think that this whole thing is going to be a disaster. And there will only be a couple years of the flag football. But yeah, we're getting hit up. Whitey came flying in to the studio, talking about, hey, this Kings schedule gate and who has the Kings schedule. Is it out yet? And some little bits and pieces are being dropped. We have the bits and pieces that have been dropped, so we will get into that in about 15 minutes. But wanna pay this one off and have some fun before we go more hardcore Kings to end the show with a little bit of what are we doing. So in this what are we doing, Chris? I told you I was going to try to do some more research on whether this was true or not. And to be completely honest, I'm still not sure. There is a video going around about Raygun, the break dancer, and the drama. And during the crosstalk, Chris Verlad said, "Are you sure that this is, because I'm hearing that this is fake, but this is the story." And sometimes you just kind of want, and I think Dave said, you kind of want some of these stories to be true. So in the first, what are we doing? Here is the curious case of the Raygun breakdancing situation and whether or not her and her husband basically held the tryouts hostage to make sure that she would get to the Olympics and do whatever it is that she did.
A petition has been circulating demanding that Rachel Gunn, also known as Raygun, be held accountable for their roles in the breakdancing debacle. Breakdancing, being such a niche sport in Australia, didn't have a formal governing body. So Rachel Gunn took it upon herself to create one, to get breakdancing included in this year's Olympics. However, her actions appear far from ethical. She appointed herself as the head of this newly formed governing body, and her husband took on the roles of both judge and coach for the qualifiers. The most disturbing part of this story is that Rachel Gunn allegedly blocked genuinely talented breakdancers from underprivileged communities from even participating in the selection process. This move seems calculated to create an environment where only she, her friends, and her husband had a chance at making it to the Olympics. As a result, it appears she secured her spot in the games by essentially eliminating the competition, many of whom were far more skilled. Videos of these other dancers show their talent is undeniable, which raises serious questions about how Rachel Gunn made it through while they did not. And a Change.org petition was launched this morning, demanding accountability and transparency. The petition has gained over 4,000 signatures.
So that turns this whole thing, all the memes, a little bit dark, if true. Again, I don't believe she's come out and said anything, but this thing is circulating, Chris. And I mean, the memes were hilarious to start, and they still are going to be hilarious. But if she did this, is this the biggest, I guess, lack of awareness in that, American Idol did so well. And it's funny, what were we talking about? William Hung yesterday, just yesterday. And how he is remembered, with the name still rings today, but not for the right reasons. But the whole idea of American Idol and Simon Cowell, because Simon Cowell would be so honest and tell you how terrible you are. This whole thing with certain talents and whether or not somebody is telling you you're good or not. Yeah. Right. I mean, if you sing in the shower and you don't have anybody to tell you, hey, you're not that good, and you get to American Idol and Simon Cowell says, oh, no, you're actually terrible. These are back in the day before, I guess, you had recordings and things like that on your phone. But for Rachel Gunn to, assuming this is all real, to think, I mean, at that point, Chris, here now the conversation changes from whether or not you actually care about she clearly didn't, because if you're not even good enough to get there on your own volition, but you want to go to the Olympics anyway, she did not care if she was going to be embarrassed in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little confusing. I will just say I, on surface, don't believe that is true. I think that's a little bit too tinfoil hatty for me.
Well, I love that. Also
kind of feels like it would have been stopped at some point in the process, or maybe somebody would have had a little bit more of a stink about it. I mean, I saw the final Olympic qualifier for Australia, where she goes up and clearly has a worse routine than the person she's going against, and she still wins. It's definitely strange, but I am not necessarily somebody who's always going to believe. I don't know. It doesn't. All the dots aren't connecting for me. And yes, she was extra terrible, but I don't know. I think that she just was really bad. I don't know. I mean, I think this whole thing is just strange. I mean, I can definitely acknowledge that it is very, very strange, everything that has gone on with it. But yeah, I can't say that I'm super familiar with the international governing body of breakdancing. I think it's crazy that people are trying to act like that, though.
Yeah. I mean, she has to say something, though. So
she definitely does.
Yeah, she has to say something, and she's got a PhD or whatever it is in breakdancing. So we'll definitely hear from her at some point. Next up on What Are We Doing? Illinois school district teacher sentenced to 9 years in prison for stealing $1.5 million worth of chicken wings. 68-year-old.
It's a chicken wing.
It's a chicken wing. 68-year-old Vera Liddell pulled off the chicken wing heist from July 2020 to February 2022. Liddell would place orders for the wings with a food provider for the school district, bill the district, but then keep the wings. She ordered over 11,000 cases of wings. The heist took place during the pandemic when schools were closed, but some students would receive meal kits sent to their homes. The scheme was revealed when someone at the district found the invoices, which included wings with bones. There you go. See, don't go boneless. Wings with bones, something that is typically not served to students. And Chris, and I've tried to look up. At first, I thought she was being the Robin Hood of chicken wings because Chris Jones of the Chiefs says he will pay the $1.5 million worth of stolen chicken wings to help get her released from jail. But we don't know what she was doing with the chicken wings. I thought the end of the story was going to be, they weren't getting enough wings, that she was giving the wings to kids.
Yeah.
I have not seen that anyway, so I don't know why Chris Jones, maybe she shouldn't get 9 years prison time, but Chris Jones, you can use that $1.5 million in a lot of different ways.
You can still feed kids.
You can still feed the kids, Chris Jones, with that 1.5. Unless something comes out that she was doing something positive with all the chicken wings, it sounds like she was probably reselling them and you probably saw her on DoorDash or something.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
That's what I think happened. But there you go. $1.5 million worth of stolen chicken wings. Looking at 9 years in jail, Chris.
I need to find out what school district she's in because I never had chicken wings for lunch. I'll tell you that right now. So I don't care if she's stealing it or not. I need to figure out what district that's in because that's the kind of lunch that I need. This is so strange. I mean, I don't like you said, I mean, it makes sense if she's trying to Robin Hood this thing, but just to take, 11,000 cases of wings you're pushing it at that point. Like you're pushing wings at that point.
That's what I'm saying.
Be, slanging them outside the window or something like that. She must have a real operation going on. This is probably something that falls under the category of she just thought it was so insignificant. She probably didn't think she was ever going to get caught, but I guess not all heroes wear capes, and I'm not saying she's a hero, but definitely am intrigued to see the finality of this story because it again feels like there's got to be more to the story than what we're being told here.
And the dollar amount, I guess, makes sense when you're looking at 9 years, but then when you think, hey, it's chicken wings, 9 years in prison for chicken wings. But I guess if you found a way to steal $1.5 million just straight up in money, you're probably getting about 9 years in jail.
It's probably kind of it's kind of a little bit of the Shohei Ohtani situation where how did the school district also not notice? How did it reach $1.5 million before they started to notice? I always hear about how school districts are, strapped for cash.
Yeah,
and, you can't afford to get pencils. And yet this lady's just sneaking through 1.5 mil of chicken wings and it goes under the radar until and that's another thing. Why did they end up catching her? What happened? How did the sting come to an end? That's what I want to know.
Because she was ordering wings with bones and she was supposed to only order boneless.
Interesting. Huh.
It says the scheme was revealed when someone at the district found invoices which included wings with bones, something that is typically not served to students. So she slipped up. All she wanted was a drumstick.
Typically they do boneless wings?
Boneless wings.
There was a shortage during COVID, though, of bone-in wings.
Yes, there definitely was. I definitely remember
And it was this woman.
She needed a flat. She needed one flat or one drumstick, and it's costing her
driving up the market.
9 years in prison. Coming up next, we get into the Kings schedule, at least everything that has been revealed to us so far. Sean Cunningham has a couple nice tidbits that we will go over and get you excited for the 2024-2025 NBA season. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find Keegan Murray is Sacktown Sports.
Out to Keegan Murray, straight away for three, and Keegan knocks down the triple.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Keegan Murray, and you're listening to the home of Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Labor Day, our annual celebration of workers and their achievements, was first observed in New York, and the first Monday in September became a national holiday in 1894. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Each year we commemorate Labor Day with parades, picnics, and family gatherings. And right now, Naturewood Home Furnishings is celebrating with their exceptional whole store Labor Day sale. Would you like to refresh your living room? Would you like to restyle your bedroom? Maybe you want to redesign your home office. No matter whether it's your dining room, kids' rooms, accents, or accessories, Naturewood's unique store-wide Labor Day sale offers savings in every department and savings on every brand like Stanton, Omnia, England, Stickley, Flex Steel, and all the rest of the award-winning furniture. When it comes right down to it, it's all about choices and always about quality. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings right now for this remarkable Labor Day sale. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for the water wheel.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
You feel that? You feel that? Sacramento Kings. The season is around the corner. You feel your chest bumping, Chris.
Starting to shrivel. I am.
The opposite.
What's that?
Sean Cunningham coming out with some very, very important notes on the season. Chris Watkins, we're going to go over them right now. What have you seen so far that has caught your eye?
I would definitely, first off, shout out Sean, who has released a ton on the schedule so far. I mean, I would say that most of the scheduling that is available right now for public consumption is because of Sean Cunningham. And for what it's worth, I just saw NBA put out, or ESPN on NBA on ESPN put out that tomorrow they will reveal the entire schedule. There will be a whole hour-long NBA schedule release program on ESPN NBA Today at noon tomorrow. So by noon tomorrow, we will know the full extent of the Kings schedule. This is again from Sean Cunningham. These are the dates that we know so far. Season opener is on the 24th against the Timberwolves. The Lakers will play in Sacramento on December 19th, the December 21st. The Kings will go at the Lakers on the 28th of December. So 3 games against the Lakers in about a week and a half, spanning from December 19th to the 28th. That should be interesting. National TV, as we know, the Kings did beat the Lakers in every matchup last year. The Kings have 7 national TV games, including NBA TV, the first of which will be on January 16th against the Houston Rockets. The Kings will host the Golden State Warriors on ESPN on January 22nd, as well as February 21st. And they will play the defending NBA champion Boston Celtics March 24th. And since then, some more news has trickled out from Sean Cunningham saying that Harrison Barnes will make his return to Sacramento on December 1st. And that will be again against the San Antonio Spurs. So we don't really know a ton of the games. Of course, we know the NBA Cup schedule from yesterday as well. On November 15th, they're playing Minnesota. November 22nd at Clippers. November 29th at Portland. And then December 3rd playing the Houston Rockets. None of those games will be featured on on national TV. We also do know DeMar DeRozan will make his first return to Chicago on January 12th as well. So that is very interesting. And all of that, again, is from Sean Cunningham of Fox 40. Sean is doing fantastic work and also puts out here about an hour ago, which is what we're going to talk about here in a second. According to sources, the Kings play 5 of their first 7 games on the road. They also conclude the regular season with 6 of their last 9 games away from Golden One Center as well. So starting off the season on the road and ending it on the road is probably not ideal. That's definitely the thing that has stuck out the most so far to me, is just that is doing no favors. You know, we talked with Law Murray yesterday, and he said he was excited to see the Clippers schedule because much like the Kings, the NBA does the Kings and the Clippers no favors at all when it comes to scheduling. They usually get really bad breaks. I think Law specifically pointed out, the Kings going on the road as daylight savings hits, obviously getting 3 hours and then potentially what you would spring forward, fall back. I guess they lose an hour. I think it's just a sign that the Kings, again, get no love, because ending the season 6 of 9 on the road, obviously those can be your most important games as you're trying to lock in any sort of playoff positioning, maybe even play-in positioning. That's not ideal. 6 of 9 on the road to end the season, to me, is not good. And then, I actually don't mind 5 of 7 to start the season on the road, because they always say that the road is kind of where you become a team. At home, everything's comfortable. The game ends. Everyone goes to their respective houses, goes to their families, kumbaya, whatever. When you're on the road, taking the bus together, staying at the same hotel, that's when you really start to come together as a group. So I actually don't mind that as much as I mind the 6 of 9 to end the season on the road.
Yeah. And it really just reminds me, Chris, of last season. I mean, last season, and we don't know who the opponents are.
Yes.
But last season, it was a little bit tough to end the season, and you were in a position, right, with the last 15 games, something like that, where we spent plenty of airtime talking about, hey, you want to set yourself up because you got a rough stretch coming. You want to set yourself up. They did not, and they got into the rough stretch, and it was really rough. So at least the Kings won't be new to this. They're true to this. They're used to the end of the season being a bit rough, and hopefully they're in a better position than they were last season, because if you have to bank on winning on the road that late in the season, you got injuries, you got players dinged up, things like that, it could be a problem. But I mean, it is what it is. You got to go out there and you got to find a way to take care of business. I don't know why this happens to the Clippers and the Kings. I mean, maybe it's because they're an afterthought when it comes to just the setup, but you got to power through it. Chris, off the top of your head, and I hate to put you on the spot, but the national games, and I know people look at NBA TV a little bit different than the others, but how many national games did the Kings have last season? Did it feel like they had more than this season?
I know last season there was also a lot made of how few national TV games the Kings had
coming off of that good season. That's why I was asking.
They had I know they had 2 TNT games during the Beam Team season. Mm-hmm. I believe they had a couple ESPN games as well. I don't remember the exact number of how many national TV games there were last year, but I know it was very underwhelming, and the Kings did get backloaded with a ton of them. And I believe some of them did get flexed out of national TV. 7 is, every single year, and I'm sure we'll see it tomorrow, there's more of an extensive breakdown of, hey, the Warriors got 41 national TV games. I think that's more what it is that when you're going to look at how many national TV games compared to other teams, the Kings are probably going to have, less national TV games than the Spurs. And, we know Wemby, obviously, but I think that is kind of where you start to get people getting really frustrated, to where it's like, okay, how do we win? I mean, even OKC is probably going to be in a situation. We already know they've got kind of screwed on their opening game and on Christmas, not getting on either of those 2 nights. I think it's definitely has to do with market size and really just marketability in general. The Kings don't really have anyone that you put on the marquee for ESPN and say, hey, on Tuesday, don't forget to check in. DeMar DeRozan is taking on Zion Williamson. Tune in. Like, it just doesn't quite get people going. Like, as crazy as it is, you put Victor Wembanyama against LaMelo Ball. I really think that from a general NBA audience, I kind of think that one hits more than the other, but at the very least, I think it is symbolic as to why sometimes the Kings do get kind of screwed on national TV, just because they don't have the star power. It doesn't really have much to do with your actual team record.
You said this earlier this week when we talked about the Oklahoma City Thunder not getting either a game to start the season on opening night or a Christmas game. And you talked about how OKC did everything right.
Mhm.
Okay. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he is the cool cucumber.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the way he dresses and he does this and he does that. And they've done everything right. OKC. What do you think Adam Silver, and I don't know if anybody in the media would ask him or how open everyone is, but what do you think Adam Silver would say if somebody in the media just asked him, hey, and I don't know if Adam Silver would say, hey, I'm not a part of that or whatever the case is, which I would assume to some level just isn't completely true. What would you say? What would he say if somebody asked, hey man, these rules are to make sure that the parity is the parity, but yet when you have a team like OKC who did everything right and they don't get rewarded, how should a team feel? And when you want that parity, and now because of that, they don't get a free agent because a free agent says, well, why would I go to OKC when even when they ball out, nobody cares because they don't get this? How do you think Adam Silver would answer that question?
I hate to be whitey here, but what was the question?
Well, I guess the question is just why do you not care about the small markets? Or why don't you give more to the small markets?
I mean, I think that answer is unfortunately just money. Like it's just, if we get Lakers Warriors, it doesn't matter if they're 7 versus a 10 seed. Those are two big audiences first and foremost. And B, we can sell LeBron versus Steph because advertisers know who those guys are. Advertisers might not care about Domantas Sabonis or
Jalen
Williams. Sure. Why not? Yeah. I think that's more, it's really as simple as that. Is the NBA is a for-profit business, and you have to be able to sell advertisers that we are legitimately trying to bring the most viewership possible to these games. And, people can say that they like good basketball all they want. People like stars, and it really is as cut and dry as that, especially in the NBA. Stars bring the attention, stars bring the eyeballs, and I think, as long as I can't imagine anything shifting unless parity really does become hyper real in the NBA. I just think people are always going to care about the big names. And unfortunately it is as simple as that, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it gets to a point where, there's certain players that I think are set up to be the next faces of the league. We've had this conversation time and time again, but there is a level of, we're just going to have to, with that. That's just not a problem we're going to deal with. We're not going to not have LeBron or Steph because we're going to prepare. It's almost like the Niner thing. We're going to draft a receiver because in a couple of years it's going to be an issue. No, you should draft an offensive lineman because you have an offensive line problem right now. We're not going to have Shai Gilgeous or whoever replace Steph or LeBron because in a year or two, Steph and LeBron are going to be gone.
Yeah,
we'll deal with that.
We're going to deal with that as long as we can.
Exactly. We'll deal with that when we deal with that. If nobody knows if he's good enough, when it's time, Shai Gilgeous, people will know his name.
Exactly.
And I guess I just argued against myself right there. Coming up next, we continue the conversation. And as we talk about the schedule, is the NBA trying to jack the NFL swag? What about that? And stealing celebrations, fair or foul for one Trae Young Ice Tray. Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out sacktownsports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on sacktownsports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. And we're looking at plenty of sunshine for today, along with light southwest winds. Temperatures warmer than yesterday with highs in the low to mid 90s. Expect overnight lows in the lower 60s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Coach Doug Christie here to remind you, if you're in the market for a new car, shop Folsom Lake Kia. Low interest rates, low payments, and zero down deals with approval of credit. Folsom Lake Kia, over 25 years, right here in Folsom.
Carmichael Dave here for Capital Casino. Sacramento summertime heat is back. And of course, Cap Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room, wants to invite everyone to soak up some air conditioning still with the most variety of table games in the region. And as always, the best food, best service, and the best action, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. Capital Casino, of course, reminding everyone to please make sure you gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Sacramento, Dierks Bentley's coming to town. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo for Country in the Park 2. And he's bringing some friends. Parmalee, Tyler Rich, Dasha, Kelsey Hart, and more. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo. Get your tickets today before they're sold out at CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by RVs of Sacramento and Hoblet Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram Center.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
When your game goes bad, getting back to basics is the quickest way to get on track. Many problems can be traced to forgetting the first lessons a good golf instructor covers: grip, alignment, and posture. If you're not holding the club properly, if you're not aligned to the target, and if you're not in an athletic posture when you take the club back, you'll have to manipulate it somehow to get it back square to the target. That's when bad things happen. When I find myself leaving shots out to the right, I check my grip on the club. I check to see that I'm holding the club lightly in my fingers and that my hands are close together. Check to see that the V's formed by my thumbs and forefingers point to my right shoulder. Take a practice swing and feel as though the hands are working together and turning over naturally through the impact area. Bad alignment makes a good shot go astray, and bad posture makes it difficult to generate club head speed. If you're having similar problems, a brush up with a PGA professional will get you going again. For Golf to Go, I'm Frank LaRosa.
Live and local. Live and local. This is Sacktown Sports.
$30 more minutes with you, 15 more with us, and then we will be joined by Whitey Gleason. Chris, does it feel like, and maybe you have more of a nuanced take on this, but all right, this stuff, and I don't even know if this happens as much with the NFL. I mean, there's a lot less games with the NFL. Does it kind of feel like, as we talk about swagger jacking and you have Trae Young discussing his celebration, does it kind of feel like the NFL or the NBA is swagger jacking the NFL with this? Is it an attempt? And I don't know if it's an internal attempt or whoever it's an attempt by. Is it some type of an attempt to, oh yeah, you know, this season's going to be crazy. There's all these big games. I'm sorry, me personally, before I was in the media and even now, yeah, these games are gonna. It's nice to see when the stretches show up, and obviously we don't even have the full schedule yet. But you know they're going to have a tough stretch. You know they're going to play some really good teams. I don't really get the hubbub around, oh, I got to see who the Kings play, especially when the season happens. It's just a long season.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think all schedule releases are by nature pretty stupid because, like you're saying, I mean, we already, for the most part, know the opponents they're going to play. It's just figuring out the order in which they're going to do it in the exact dates. I don't know if the NFL necessarily coined it, but I think maybe. I mean, yeah, I don't think that it's to the level of the NFL. I mean, the NFL, they do have their own special release or whatever. But
and don't they do
like
a thing where they come out with the opponents, but then you don't know if it's home or away or something like that?
Yeah. You know that pretty early. And then, you just really figure out the dates and the exact order of it once the schedule is out. But, I mean, I think it's every league does it to try and make their sport as 12-month as possible. And this is a way of, I mean, we're talking about it. I think it's just a way of keeping the NBA in the conversation, because I don't know what else we would be talking about from an NBA perspective without it. At least it keeps the conversation going. You can have talks about, hey, Kings on opening night, Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
How exciting is that going to be?
Sure.
Hey, all those kind of things. It just really keeps the conversation going. So you can maybe say that they took it from the NFL, but I just think in general, it's always going to be any league's, prerogative to keep the conversation going as long as possible. It's just the NBA and the NFL are better than everybody else at it. Baseball could probably do themselves some good by getting some more hype around the schedule release.
Yeah, I mean, you could try.
They just release it in the middle of the season, which is weird. I don't understand baseball's logic for their schedule release at all.
Yeah, and obviously it's so much easier because with the NFL, the amount of games, so they do candy for each team, or
the videos are great.
Yeah, the videos are great, and it feels like maybe Major League Baseball or the NBA could do it based on big games. You know what I mean? Something like that. If anything. So I was just thinking about that, thinking, I don't necessarily recall, I got this. And Sean Cunningham is doing a great job. This is his job. But from the fan perspective, I'm super juiced to see who the Kings play. Oh, okay, they play the Celtics in March. Okay, cool. Or whenever it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think that people plan their lives around it, though. I mean, if you are a Celtics fan who lives in Sacramento, you want to know the date so that you know when you're going to be buying tickets, or if it's around Christmas, like, I might be out of town for that. Or if you are an out-of-town Kings fan, you want to know the schedule so you know when you can come into town and maybe see a home stretch or things like that. I remember a couple seasons ago, me, Brendan, and Frankie met somebody who is a Kings fan in Australia, and he had specifically planned out a week to show up where the Kings had 3 or 4 home games. So I think it's for, it's the things you don't think about, just, not saying you specifically, but just in general, just because it doesn't apply to you doesn't mean that it's not, important for other people for a myriad of different reasons. I mean, my birthday is always, it's October 26th. That's usually when the season starts. And so I can't wait for the schedule to come out, because I like to see, are the Kings going to play on my birthday?
Sure.
Can I make a day of that? Can I make a whole trip of it? Things like that. Absolutely.
I got you that day.
You got me?
I got you.
Put it on the record.
I have Chris. If they play,
they play the 24th, and if 5 of the 7 are on the road, they probably are on the road that day.
If they play on your birthday, do not come in. I got you.
All right.
As Simone would say, I got you, big dog.
Let's see here. 26 is on a Saturday, so I am not.
Saturday Night Lights.
I'm already not going into work.
Well, man.
Sounds like you got me Friday. Cool.
I got you Friday. Make a staycation.
Yeah.
Right. Stay at one of the nice hotels downtown.
Yeah.
Hit up a spot. Maybe I'll just slide by, say, hey,
remember I got you yesterday? Hey,
you got me today. Okay, speaking of swagger jacking, I need some help on this one because I'm completely just blanking out. But this is Trae Young talking about his celebration on the podcast P and how it may not have been original, but it's original to him.
The Ice Tray chill celebration that the midfielder from Chelsea, Cole Palmer, accused you of stealing. Who did it first?
He accused me of stealing?
He accused you of stealing his celebration.
I never heard he told me that. I mean, respect. Yeah, you're good. You're good. I heard he's a pretty good soccer player.
I've heard of the name.
Now.
Like, I've heard of the team.
Ever since he started
that
celebration. Yeah. I can vividly remember being in my basement with my homie being like, yo, like just watching games and seeing our favorite players doing that. And I was like, we got to come up with something. Yeah. And he was like, you Ice Tray, it should be cold. Like, and I remember hitting a 3 and like.
So basically, he is claiming that he did not take it from Cole Palmer. And I think Chris Verlot or you, Chris, could probably hop in on this. I don't know what the situation is. I love it. I mean, it's Ice Tray. It makes sense to me. This whole thing gets confusing because you never know what people know.
Yeah.
So for somebody to claim, I know, and I guess Cole Palmer saying I'm a much bigger star than you, you must have seen me do it. We joked last week or 2 weeks ago with Nate, two Americas. There's more. There's two Americas. There's 5 Americas. There's different countries and different worlds. It's very possible that Trae Young did not see him. It's not the most unique thing in the world, but I'm trying to think of other celebrations that multiple players do that you don't necessarily know who owns it. I'm thinking the D-Lo one, the ice in his veins. Is he the only one that does that?
I believe that he was definitely the first one to do it.
And then you have the one that the Lakers do when they put the 3 on the 1-3 down.
Yeah.
That's not a Laker
weird.
thing.
Might be. I haven't seen anybody else do it, but it definitely, because it seems like a version of the D'Angelo Russell thing. But yeah, I can't really think of many.
Nobody did the Harden when he was cooking.
Nope.
That was an original. But you know what? Here's a note. Nate's doing the Rock the Baby, but I don't think anyone claims that.
I think Russ claims it. Yeah.
Russ claims it?
Yeah,
okay.
I think so.
Nate has a good one.
Dame time?
The Dame time. Because before, right around the same time as Dame time, Celtics, Isaiah Thomas, he was the king of the fourth. Everybody, too many players have hit their wrists.
Sure.
Who owns the hit the wrist?
LeBron 2x4 break thing.
2x4 break.
The stop.
Oh yeah, but that's LeBron. The 2x4, and now he crowns himself. One thing against Trae Young, I will say, have you noticed when Steph makes a 3 and he hits his chest and then points up?
I'm very aware.
I've seen Trae Young do that.
Oh, tons of people do that. I think even KD.
But KD? But who started it?
I think that's like simple enough to where I don't think anybody claims, I hit my chest and point. That's my thing.
Night.
It's like Caitlin Clark with the whole heart thing.
Yes.
We talked about that as well.
Who owns the top? You're saying that's Dame time.
Dame owns it.
But IT did do it.
He definitely did do it. Yeah, he definitely did do it. But I think Dame was in the league before that. I mean, I think I was not super following Dame's early career in Portland besides when he would cook the Kings.
Well, I'm sure he wasn't doing that when he was a
He might have been.
I'm still saying it's probably Dame.
Well, by the time Isaiah Thomas was in Boston also, that's pretty deep into Isaiah's career and also, probably significantly into Dame's career as well. I would imagine Dame had probably already done that at that point.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. The football, they always just do the newest dances. So
yeah,
I don't think
Ocho Cinco. He had the salsa. That was Victor Cruz. I'm sorry, had the salsa dance. That was kind of specifically Victor.
Oh
Cruz.
yeah, that was Victor Cruz. The
Randy Moss had the split it open thing.
The wide receivers when they do the nose.
Yeah, that's everybody does it. I don't know what that's a reference to, but I
forgot
imagine that it's probably not super chill.
You don't. Yeah,
I would imagine it probably is something that's like the young people are in on.
Just like when I got in trouble.
Getting bent. Yes, absolutely. I think it's very similar. I think it probably means something very obvious to the kids, but we're just.
I'll look it up once we're off. Once we're off work Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
once we're off work Wi-Fi.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get off of that. Coming up next, Whitey Gleason joins us for a little bit of crosstalk here on Stiles and Watkins. 15 more minutes with you. We'll be right back.
Domantas Sabonis plays here.
He finds Sabonis, put the frosting on the cake, put the cherry on the sundae. Sabonis with a two-hand flush makes it 114-106.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. They'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
As a mom, I'd do anything to keep my child out of physical pain.
Dr. Pamela Maida is a board-certified orthopedic surgeon.
As a doctor, I know that growth spurts can cause pain in my child's feet, and that can affect their legs and back too.
Good Feet Youth Arch supports are designed to alleviate, even eliminate common pain.
Investing in youth arch supports for your child or teen is one of the best decisions you can make.
Come to the Good Feet store now for a free fitting and test walk.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Experience a golf tournament as refined as you are. The Pro Court Championship at Silverado Resort, September 12th through the 15th. Be there as the best of Napa meets the best of the PGA Tour. With world-class wine experiences, breathtaking views, and incredible golf. It's like this weekend was made for you. The Pro Court Championship, September 12th through the 15th. For tickets, go to ProCourtChampionship.com.
At Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda, we make the dream of owning a new car easy and stress-free.
With prices that you just can't say no to. Save on our best selection of the year during the final days of the Honda Summer Event.
Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Number one claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company sold on report.
Are you tired of your tee shots ending up in the adjoining fairway while the rest of your foursome is hitting it down the middle? Well, experts will tell you that being properly fitted for golf clubs will help you strike your drive center cut. The Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio and its team of trained PGA professionals are ready to help you get rid of your banana balls and duck hooks. Hagen Oaks Indoor-Outdoor Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
Celebrate Sacramento Rivercats baseball during our 25th anniversary season and join the fun at Sutter Health Park. For a full promotion schedule and to buy tickets, visit rivercats.com. We'll see you there.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Whitey Gleason joins us here on Stiles and Watkins to close out the show, but don't go anywhere.
I won't.
As the Drive guys will take you up to 6 p.m. I got to be careful, Whitey, with the schedule right around the corner. I got to start asking again, not that I ever did to begin with, but asking, hey, how long you on today? Because I'm just used to saying till 2 to 6, but
yeah,
once these
full program
and UC Davis, a lot of different things going to be happening soon.
Yeah. Oh, a lot of things. Yeah.
What's on the show today?
Well, I was wondering if you guys could help us with something that we haven't even officially started yet.
Okay.
Do you know the Kings? They came here in 85, right?
Yes.
85, 86. So if my math is correct, this season will be their 40th season.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to start putting together today, just early stages, the top 40 Sacramento Kings of all time.
Okay.
Wow.
So I'm wondering who you would like to nominate. And it's okay. You could just throw out anybody. We're going to get a ton of nominations. Hopefully, then we'll go through and parse them. So there's no like wrong answer here. But if you have anyone you'd like to nominate, and this isn't the deadline, we're just starting. But I'm wondering if there's anybody besides the obvious.
Yeah.
Chris Weber. Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Turkaloo.
Kmart.
Turkaloo.
Yeah.
I will say that this was
Kmart.
a point of contention last year. Your whole 40th year thing. There's like an argument of like what counts as the first year, and they kind of I think count the 85, 86 as like year 0. So it's I know
okay. They could do that, but I'm just saying this season will be the 40th season they've played here.
Yes,
that's a fact.
I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know. You might meet some resistance at some point with that number.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Kmart's a great one for sure. Definitely forgotten. Darius Sangaila, how about somebody like that?
I actually have his
route.
bobblehead.
Of course, yes, the Carl's Jr. bobblehead.
studio study, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with Turgaloo. I used to.
Is
cook
Jason
with him.
Thompson making the list?
I don't know. He might. My wife loves Jason
most games played of any Sacramento King
Yeah.
of that era. Of the 85 till.
We used to do a weekly with Hito Turkaloo, and one time the show was just like, I forget what happened. He didn't understand our question or something, and it's just like, the show sometimes like, whoops,
Yeah.
and he goes, so how's show going? Good. Thanks, Hito.
Yeah,
it's
it
great,
really
buddy.
makes it sound better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is this going well? Like, kind of feels like it's not.
I used to
He was
cook with
good.
him in 2K5, NBA 2K5. I was all over it.
I feel like, well, I mean, you said not the obvious ones, but like, J Will to me is probably
Sure.
he needs to be
Probably top 10, easy.
He needs to be 30 to 40 to me, Whitey.
Really?
Not that good. Not that good.
Really?
He's fine. He's exciting.
You talking
Woo!
about
Great
white
highlights.
chocolate?
Great highlights. Great
30 to
highlights.
40?
30 to 40
Great
is
highlights.
Interesting.
Let's look at the numbers, shall we?
I just want you to give me everyone in between.
I mean, I can't.
Mikey
I
Moore.
can't do that for you right now, but
Mikey Moore,
yeah.
Page the top 10er.
Marcus Thornton. Yes.
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 Yes. He's a top fiver, potentially.
Who do you have? So if you're going to go down this path, you got Bobby Jackson over Jason Williams?
Yes. Unquestionably.
We yesterday for DeMarcus Cousins' birthday, that's kind of what started us wandering down this path. We talked about where he would rank all time. Would he
Top
be
10,
a
easy.
Would he be top 5?
Probably. I don't see. I mean,
Drapes had him just outside, which I appreciate that because that's
I'm not.
It's easy to go, oh, look at the numbers, yeah. But when you really look at the big picture with him, you got to really think about it.
Sure.
But yeah, well, that's the question. What are we talking about here? What are we doing?
It's all relative. Yeah. I mean, especially if we're talking Kings level of success, like you can't
Who's
really
the best player.
You
It's up
can't
to
really
you, but yeah.
bang him for being on bad teams when every player we're going to name has probably been on some version of a bad team.
So
unless we're just going to do the starting 5 from 2002.
Sure. So how are we doing this? And this always comes up in these situations.
It's just your opinion. Who was the better
Like
player? Who's the
would
best
Michael
player?
Jordan be on a top Wizards list?
No,
probably.
Well, yeah, for the Wizards, probably.
But that's where I'm going.
But his
DeMar
Wizards,
DeRozan-
you're just doing their
So
era.
DeMar DeRozan would not be on the list.
No.
Yeah, that's a
No, I
good
wouldn't
question.
think
I was
so.
thinking you'd love to try to squeeze him on. Technically, he hasn't played a game yet, so you can't. But we could probably
You
sneak
can
him
probably
there
squeeze
40th or
39.
something.
Yeah, maybe right after Jay Will.
I
Yeah,
knew
But I
you
get
were
your
going to
point.
say
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Once he puts on the jersey,
That's
you know,
right.
is it what is represented of? I know my
And Otis Thorpe can make the list.
I
You know,
didn't know. Yes. Oh, he was really
yeah,
good.
yeah,
I didn't know you were not the big J Will guy.
just a lot of highlights.
Yeah.
Not a lot of efficiency for somebody who's known for passing. Not really many great passing numbers either. You know, just interesting, interesting stuff. Jay
And this
Will,
guy, as you probably know,
I'm
here,
just saying, Jay
your
Will in
partner,
his Sacramento career here,
give me
11-6.
substance over sizzle, right?
Yep.
His
He
favorite player of all
shot
time.
38% as a Sacramento King.
Tim
What are we
Duncan's his
talking
favorite
about?
Not everybody's
That's
a
Angel
scorer.
Reese numbers. What are we doing?
and well, she might be rookie of the year.
Okay, she won't be, but that's
It's
definitely
not all
my
about
argument against it.
scoring. It's not all about scoring.
Yeah, I mean 6.3 assists for his career as a Sacramento King. Again, for somebody who's known for passing.
Of all those guys on
How
those
about
great
hockey
teams,
assists?
he was the first one to win a ring.
That is true. That is true.
Mhm.
Yeah. Not with the Sacramento Kings, but
Was that the Heat?
Mhm.
So was
Yeah.
he on the Heat as well as Gary Payton?
yeah. Yeah.
And they both got that ring?
Yes.
They actually each got a ring. They didn't have
Yes.
to share.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
He's also on those Orlando Magic teams that were pretty fun. Yeah, almost won a second one.
Jameer Nelson.
Top 5, I would say, just off the top of my head, to answer the DeMarcus question. I mean, you got to have Webb in there. You got to have Mitch in there. You know, it's
De'Aaron
an interesting.
Fox?
That's what I was thinking. I mean, that was the next one. Has De'Aaron already had a better? I mean, more successful for sure. Yeah, I think it's definitely okay to put De'Aaron in there, and then Sabonis and DeMarcus is definitely an interesting conversation, especially if we're talking just Sacramento Kings. But after last season, I don't know. I mean, DeMarcus did have good a decent 6 to 7 year run here in Sacramento. Sabonis has been here for 2.5 years right now.
He was second team all league twice, and that's
Nothing
that's
to
no
scoff
joke.
at. Yeah.
Vlade.
That was, I think, in Drapes yesterday. I think he had Vlade 5 and DeMarcus 6. So, Vlade did a lot of really good things on really good teams. So anyway, we're probably going to get started with that today.
Excited.
So you said Kmart?
No,
You
I said
Kmart.
Turkey.
Oh, he said
Nate
Kmart.
said Kmart.
You said Hito. Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
said
you had
I said J. Will, but
Darius Sangala.
Yes, Darius Sangala. Please give me some Darius Sangala. Maybe Lawrence Funderburk did a lot of clapping on the bench. I was always a big Funderburk guy.
Peek behind the scenes. I wanted to do 100.
It's a bit much.
I was told that but that would be great.
It would be
100,
something.
Rodney McCray. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd probably take a while for you to get to names of relevance, but yeah, I mean, it would be an exercise, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Where's Tyreek Evans fall on this too? Because again, if we're just doing Sacramento Kings tenure, he had a great Kings tenure, not so much a great career, but
where
Kings
I'm going.
numbers.
Tyreek 39, DeRozan 40.
There you go. J.
where
Will
I'm
38.
going?
I do not.
You know where he is. Indiana. Tyrese Halliburton.
Oh,
yeah, after J. Will. Right after J. Will for me.
If he ends up being one of those dudes, right?
I don't know.
It's the same conversation as DeRozan.
What did you do as a King?
Right,
Yeah.
right. So because of that, it would be now.
That's I hadn't thought of that. It's a good question.
Yeah.
I bet you he won't make it. I mean, if we have a vote, but I can see why you'd consider it.
Buddy Hield. Excited
Buddy
to see
Buckets.
where that falls.
Well, let's see what he does now out there in the Bay. Whitey,
Kufis?
Whitey, how do you
that half hook?
Whitey, how do you feel about this schedule? I was talking to Chris, wondering if the NBA was kind of trying to do their best NFL impression with these schedule leaks, and oh my goodness, the opening night leaks and the Christmas that it always leaked. Do you get juiced up are you excited when you see kind of bits and pieces, or are you more of I'll just wait and see when it all
I
comes
wish
out?
it was all at once, and it seems like everyone I talk to feels that way. I guess they're trying to just satisfy their TV partners, ESPN will give you this day, you can do this part. And then this day, because it's kind of the slow time of year if you have an NBA show, right? So we'll give you the whole schedule release on Thursday and the in-season tournament on Tuesday. And everyone that we hear from that calls us on the chat, on the text line, you guys, everyone I think is feeling like, just give us a schedule.
Yeah. And last but not least, Whitey, I know how important Chris Watkins is to you.
Yeah.
And on a day like today where JJ McCarthy goes down, I know you had prepared some words for Chris to kind of get him through everything.
Yeah. Just hang in there. You might want to start looking at another team.
What is up with everybody in their
There's some good teams. Helpful. There's some good teams in that division. You can cover on.
Okay, that's really not helpful.
That is rude.
Super unhelpful. Actually.
I know you love Jared Goff.
No comment whatsoever. I have so many random people who I haven't talked to in months hitting me up right now.
Sam Darnold's going to show that. See, the Jets were right when they drafted me where they did. Climb on my back, and we'll go for right in the sky. Skull!
We do have some good news. Jordan Addison.
Don't feel better.
Jordan Addison, who went down, it turns out it was an ankle. So they say he will, quote, be okay. So nothing.
Hope that he will be okay.
But it's an ankle.
The quote is hope
at the very least.
An ankle, and you have two ankles, so he's fine.
Correct.
So you still have one. Why you going to fire up the Little League World Series? I know you are.
So you guys already have it on. Not the biggest fan.
When I saw the had to watch
yesterday, and that's
kind of crazy.
Well, Nate was shaking his head. Yeah, duh. Duh. All right.
The cheese on Hawaii.
There you go. Drive Guys coming up next. Olympics, Little League, and everything in between. Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper. Thank you for listening to Stiles and Watkins. Thank you to Nate. Thank you to the callers, the texters, Sack Chatters. Until tomorrow, secure the bag like the beam.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion.